Stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today.
If you're experiencing a spring hiring rush, then you need Indeed. Their powerful, all-in-one hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in one place. Want to find your next great hire? Visit Indeed.com/credit.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Happy opening day. Welcome to the Annie Frey Show. I am so glad that you are getting to spend a little bit of your afternoon with us. Thank you for choosing to spend some of it with us. We know that in St. Louis, it's one of those high holy days. Cardinals baseball begins today, just a stone's throw from where we are broadcasting right now. And we're glad to be a part of it. So join us if you're taking your lunch break or if you're going to be going downtown and you want to listen to us. Put us on the Odyssey app, AUDACY, and follow 97.1 FM Talk. We're gonna do a regular show here today, but we are going to, especially in the 2:00 hour, loosen up a little bit as we are apt to do. But I'm really excited. At 1:25, Jeremy Boyer is going to join us on the show, and he is an organist for the St. Louis Cardinals. He also does it for the St. Louis Blues, and he has a new album out, which is really funny because it's basically him playing the organ to a bunch of songs that you already know. And if you have ever loved that baseball field kind of that vibe, that atmosphere when the organ is playing, and every once in a while you hear the organ playing and it's definitely, I know this song, super recent pop hit or whatever. Jeremy has put these on an album, and we're going to feature some of those songs today. So if you like it, you're going to want to go to Amazon Music and check out his new album, At the Pearly Gates of Baseball Heaven, and he's going to come talk to us about it at 1:25. When we come back, Brad, did you ask Hans about that question?
I did ask him. I have not seen a response yet.
I'm going to talk to Hans, hopefully, about the assault weapons ban, as is named by Joe Biden, that he's been saying that needs to get moved along here. And he's been pressuring a lot of people in Washington, D.C. to get on the assault weapons ban and to react to it. We're going to ask Hans von Spakovsky, assuming that he is up on that, we're going to ask him what he knows about it and if he can talk to the constitutionality of it. The Nashville shooting is very, very difficult to take in. We're moving away from the incident. Every day that passes, we spend a little more time assessing what took place. And I think that there is something that is, I don't know that it's getting overlooked, because I see a lot of people shining a spotlight on this bright spot, if it could even possibly be a bright spot, coming out of this. Listen to CBS's Gayle King.
Negativity about police officers in the news and just on the air, and to hear these two officers, Rex Engelberg and Michael Collazo, if you haven't looked at that 3-minute video that's been released, it's riveting. My heart started racing because these guys clearly had a system. They ran, as soon as they heard gunfire, they ran to the gunfire.
No hesitation.
Nate, there was no hesitation, knowing that their lives were in jeopardy. And I think the majority of the police officers behave the way those two do.
Yeah.
And it shows the important work that they do. I'm in awe.
So there you have Gayle King talking about how the majority of police officers behave the way these police officers do. If you are able to take in the dash cam and watch the horrific reaction as to what these police officers had to go through, if you are able to take in the immediacy of what they had to do, if you were, there's one part where they're running through these halls and the officers yelling, push, push, push. And then all of a sudden you hear more gunfire and they say, like, let's go, gotta push, push. And they're pushing through this school and they are running as fast as they can, clearing each space to get towards the gunfire. And as one round of gunfire, as they get closer and one round of gunfire is popping off, I hear one of the police officers say, Jesus Christ. And I know to some people that might seem profane, but I don't know that it was. I think it was a prayer. And listening to them move towards the fire, knowing that they were the only thing stopping this person from continuing her rage and her violence, that they had to continue to push. To hear him say that was a moment of incredible humanity, a moment of opportunity for us to see what these men and women who serve in the badge and run towards the fire, what it is that they're experiencing. You get to see it, and under the absolute worst of circumstances. I would love to see out of these ashes rise a renewed respect for our law enforcement. I would say if anything can come out of this that can become a positive change, that has to be at the top of the list. The idea that law enforcement is running towards the fire to protect your children, knowing they're the only thing that can, and they can't move fast enough, and they were completely trained, they were completely prepared to run towards and end that threat towards our children. Gayle King on CBS is saying this. That's not the environment where you expect someone to take the time to invest in saying, you know what, we need to acknowledge these police officers. This needs to spread like wildfire. We need to be in a position right now when our country is breaking at the seams and pulling itself apart from one another to look at moments like this and say, you know what? Maybe we've been wrong. Collectively, maybe we've been wrong to demonize police officers. Maybe we need to focus on those areas or those individuals where we can make improvements, where we can make replacements. Maybe we need to get back to the idea of calling out the people who are bad, but still celebrating with our whole hearts the good, because it's 100% out there. If you know a police officer, you already know this. And you've been mourning for all of the police officers who have given up their careers over the course of the last 3, 4, 5 years. Because it's thankless. It's dangerous. In a city like St. Louis, it's even more dangerous because we don't even prosecute the criminals that we arrest. Maybe out of this incredible tragedy that will be a scar on the face of this country for the rest of time, maybe we can look to our police officers and start seeing them and immediately having an emotion of gratitude. I'm looking for that opportunity. I want to see the country not just not demonizing police officers, but seeing them and telling them thank you. If that's my child's school and I'm watching that video and I'm seeing how those police officers ran towards the danger to protect my child, there's no amount of gratitude that I could express that was large enough. It's a moment coming out of a tragedy where we can say, maybe we can be better in this small area because of it. And if there's any possibility to look for bright spots, I think that this is definitely one of them. In the meantime, we look at the person who perpetrated this event. We look at her history. We look at where she came from, how the media is reporting on it. And a lot of people are not reporting this individual as the most prominent demographic that she would have identified herself as, or he would have identified himself as. The only thing that the media seems to en masse pick up is the idea that the shooter went to the Christian school. And, you know, we kind of went off on this on that first day. The idea that somehow or another this happening in a Christian school is somehow denigrating to Christians, or that people should take into question whether a transgender shooter like this, maybe they felt like they had nowhere else to turn. When you take that scenario and you apply it to a white racist sitting in a church in South Carolina surrounded by black Jesus-worshiping individuals who are at church to pray, who welcomed a white shooter eventually into their prayer circle and prayed with them, are you going to look at the grievances that shooter had and justify that? Of course you aren't, because we're always looking at the hierarchy of persecution in demographics. And when a white person is shooting black people because they're black, common sense says that is racist and hateful. We don't have the information that was written from the shooter. It's likely that we will, but listen to Jesse Waters talk about this issue.
Why are they wanting to block the trans manifesto, Kaylee?
Because it obviously doesn't fit the liberal narrative. That's the clear answer. I mean, this is basic transparency. People want to know why this individual did what she did, but it's unfriendly to the left-wing media's narrative.
Why is it that we shouldn't be able to see this manifesto? And some people are going to say, oh, why would you put somebody else's hate out there for other people to consume and copy? That hate that horse has left the barn, folks. And without the specific words that we can pin to a specific person, people on both sides of the transgender issue are going to come back to the idea of being transgender and somehow push the label of transgender in a whole direction that is inappropriate. Can this one shooter be responsible for this one shooter's actions? I think absolutely that's the only way forward. When a white person shoots black people in a church, it is that individual's responsibility to bear the burden of his actions. If a black person commits crime to a white person, it is that individual's responsibility to bear the burden of those actions. If a transgender person commits violence towards Christians, that individual should bear the full weight of the responsibilities of their actions. And any effort, in my opinion, to keep them from being able to bear that full burden strikes me as a indication that that the authorities, the people who have the possibility to make this known, it makes it more likely in my mind that they're using their actions to speak for a larger group of people. Why not put the full weight and evil of what took place in Nashville on the shooter's shoulders and make that individual bear the oppressive weight of what they've chosen to do? Put it next to their name, put it next to their life, put it right next to their death. Individual responsibility is the only way we're going to move away from this cultural warfare. And, people suggest all the time, like, the culture war. Oh, there's Annie going again, talking about the culture war. No. Donald Trump in 2016 stood in the parking lot of the schoolyard and punched the bully back in the face. The culture war has been brought to our toes. The culture war is here. If I choose to fight back, I did not start this war, but I will end it. I will defend who I am, what I am. I will defend what I choose to do with my life in this country, and I will fight back. It's amazing to me how protective in this country we are about words. You know how you get canceled? You say the wrong thing. Your words are the most dangerous thing about you. Yet you can go into a Christian school in Nashville, Tennessee, shoot people up, kill children, and they'll protect you. As far as I'm concerned, release the manifesto or leak it. Get it out into the country so that we can see who this person was and what she stood for. I want to know. I absolutely want to know. Let's break. When we come back, Hans von Spakovsky is going to join us on the show, Senior Legal Fellow with the Heritage Foundation. And we're going to talk to him a little bit about the effort that the president is making to get that assault weapons ban passed. What does this materialize to? Hans will join us in a minute to talk. So let's talk about the Diamond Shop, a St. Louis business, of course. When you are looking to purchase jewelry and you need somebody in the business you can trust, somebody who isn't mass producing things that all look alike, you want something unique. You want something as special as he is, as special as she is. You go to the Diamond Shop. They started in St. Louis and they moved to Clayton. They've been around this area since 1910, and they've been serving generations of families just like yours, with the budgets as big or as small as you walk in the door. They're going to treat you all the same with great respect and satisfaction at the end of that process, where you're going to want to tell people about the Diamond Shop. Buying jewelry is about trusting the person you're buying it from and believing that they have the knowledge and experience to guide you through your purchase. My husband and I have both been purchasers of wonderful pieces from the Diamond Shop, and we're very proud of them. And we are going to go back again and again to the Diamond Shop because they will take care of you. They've taken care of us. And it's always an exquisite experience when you shop with the Diamond Shop. Make sure you become a VIP and get exclusive opportunities for special discounts and merchandise. Go to thediamondshop.net.
If you love eating out, let me introduce you to Satchmo's Bar and Grill. Mark Cox here from my friends at Satchmo's. They have daily lunch and dinner specials. They're a from-scratch kitchen with food and cocktails, and they have weekly specials. Wagyu meatloaf on Monday nights, steak night on Wednesdays, burger night for just $6.95 on Thursdays, and plenty of flat-screen TVs to catch the big game. Check them out on Facebook or online at satchmosgrill.com at Olive in 141.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-3333. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, job relocation houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-3333. That's 314-782-3333.
To a Cardinal game. Your car donation to Goodwill will help people right here in St. Louis. Donating is easy, towing is free, and you get a tax receipt. Plus, you'll get Redbird tickets, compliments of the St. Louis Cardinals. You can put the car in Cardinal by donating to Goodwill today. Donate online at mersgoodwill.org. Must mention promo code Cardinals. Hurry while supplies last.
When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house, and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo, because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home. The brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years, Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO, easy to remember phone number, or go online today at 877-25rhino.com.
97.1 FM Talk. You're here, which means you've made at least one great decision today. St. Louis is home for conservative talk. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
I'm determined, once again, to ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines.
So President Biden is very determined. That was something he said before the shooting in Nashville, and it's been his only response so far to what took place in Nashville was the idea that, nope, we need to ban those high-capacity magazines and assault weapons. Hans von Spakovsky joins us now. He is a senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation, former FEC commissioner, and he knows the Constitution, and I'm excited to talk to him about this. Hans, thanks for coming on the show with us today. Appreciate you being here.
Annie, it's always great to talk to you.
So it's baseball day in St. Louis, so we're kind of prefacing with that. We've got a lot of baseball to celebrate. You got a baseball team that you cheer for, Hans?
Well, I hate to say it, but I'm always in favor of Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And the team that used to be the Senators, but obviously now the Nationals, I'd love to see them in the World Series.
Okay. Just don't say the Cubs around here, and we'll be okay with you. So, Hans, the reaction from the president to the horrific shooting in Nashville has been immediately and squarely about saying Republicans won't pass my assault weapons ban. What's your reaction to what this president has put forth so far, even when he had Democrats in control at the House and the Senate? Could have gotten it done before. He didn't. What is he presenting here, and how do you feel it fits in and complies with the Second Amendment?
Well, he's presenting things that he believes they sound good, but don't actually solve any kinds of problems. And every time there's an attempt to ban particular types of weapons, what they're actually doing is preventing lawful citizens from being able to defend themselves. And that is the biggest issue. And what does he believe an assault weapon is? I could easily apparently he thinks it's any weapon that somehow looks scary. And you simply pull the trigger. You don't have to pump it like a pump-action shotgun. But under his definition, any kind of weapon that can rapidly fire rounds, well, that would mean banning automatic shotguns.
Right.
The ones the hunters use all the time. It's the typical response that you get from the left, which ignores the fact that far more Americans defend themselves every day than the number of unfortunate and regretful killings that we see like this.
We're speaking with Hans von Spakovsky, senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation. I live in the state of Illinois, and there are a lot of things that have been passed through a supermajority of Democrats in the General Assembly and signed into law by Governor Pritzker, immediately put into the court system to weigh in on how these laws are going to shake out. So at the federal level, if Joe Biden were to get exactly what he's asking for through the House, that won't happen, and then through the Senate, and he were to sign it, do you anticipate that goes into a legal battle immediately, or will Americans be stuck trying to figure out if they're in compliance with the new Democrat-led law?
Oh, I think you would easily see the day he signs a bill like that, you would see lawsuits filed all over the country, not just by individuals, but by everyone from the NRA to gun owners of America.
Yeah, it's an issue that I think that Americans react. We see these shootings take place, and your heart wants these to stop, and you want to be a part of a solution, an immediate solution. And it kind of becomes a political discussion that it fades away. And then we have another shooting, and then it rises up again.
No, that's right. And yeah, like I said, this is a terrible tragedy, but far more people are saved every day all across the country by individuals using guns, like I said, to defend themselves. And look, that's shown by the fact that the Heritage Foundation, where I work, is actually, we now have an index of incidents of defensive gun use. And we're constantly adding to it because it happens all the time. And it's something the media doesn't like reporting on because, of course, it doesn't fit their narrative.
Right, right. The political capital is significant on this issue, and it always will rear its ugly head during campaigns, and then nothing actually gets changed. Hans, I want to shift gears a little bit and ask you, the last time we talked with you, we went through the different legal challenges that Donald Trump is facing, and we were wondering, is Donald Trump going to get arrested today? Is he going to get arrested on Monday? And this seems to have stalled out a little bit with Alvin Bragg in Manhattan and the Stormy Daniels case. I'm wondering what your thoughts are on the direction that this is heading at this time.
Well, the news broke this week that the grand jury is taking a recess. So nothing is going to happen for the next month. And I wonder whether he is rethinking what he's doing because of the fact that his case has been roundly criticized. And it's not just by folks on the conservative side. I mean, you've had people like Alan Dershowitz, one of the most respected legal scholars in the country, saying that he has a ridiculous case. And you even had Andrew Cuomo saying the same thing. And I think perhaps he may be realizing that, he thought he could gain politically from this. Hopefully he's rethinking that and realizing that not only does he not have a case, but that it's really not going to benefit him politically if he goes ahead with this.
Yeah, and many people making the case that it has drastically benefited Donald Trump politically, which was probably not the point that he was going for in that process. Is it usual for, at this point in a grand jury trial, for them to go, we're going to take a month off here. We're going to just take a moment?
Well, I have to say I was surprised by that. Now, the story they're putting out is that, this was planned ahead of time because they had other things to consider. Other things to consider other than indicting a former president? Maybe that's true, but it just seems very unusual they would take a break, particularly because it seems like they've already heard from and cross-examined all of the witnesses that they wanted to talk to about this case. So why the delay unless perhaps they're rethinking it?
Yeah, and it's an interesting question. And, I guess it just prolongs the drama for everybody in the media as well. So yay for us. Right. Hans von Spakovsky with us right now, a senior legal fellow at the Heritage Foundation. TikTok, that has been a conversation that I had with Jim Carafano earlier in the week about the national security risks that TikTok poses to this country. But if you're going to go in and as the United States government say, we're going to ban this from existing here in this country, I would assume that there is some constitutionality that needs to be considered in how you go about this. And a lot of people saying, Hans, this is a First Amendment issue and banning TikTok takes away people's First Amendment rights. Curious what your thoughts are on the issue.
Well, it depends on whether you're talking about Americans domestically or you're talking about a foreign corporation controlled by a foreign government. And the First Amendment does not apply to foreign governments. And it's very clear that TikTok is controlled by, directed by, and run by the Chinese Communist Party and the central government there. So, sorry, but they don't have First Amendment rights. And anyone who wants to express themselves, there are many, many, many other social media platforms they can use other than this foreign application created and controlled by a foreign government.
Very interesting position on it, and I agree with that completely. Hans von Spakovsky with us right now. Before we let you go, I want to mention your book, Our Broken Elections, How the Left Changed the Way You Vote. You need to write a sequel, How the Right Can Change It Back. And I can ask you questions about that here. When people get done reading your book and they learn a little bit about how rules were changed going, through COVID into a 2020 election, there were a lot of things in a lot of these key states where laws were changed and voting looked different in the 2020 election because of it. Republican, I can't sit here and listen for another 580 days about whining about the last election when there's an election to win in the future. So tell me, Hans, with all the research you've done, what are the key issues that the Republicans need to focus in on in order to make sure that they're a participant in making themselves on an equal footing with how the Democrats were able to change the laws leading into the last one?
Well, they need to do everything they can to put in some of the kind of reforms that Georgia, Texas, and Florida did, for example, not only requiring an ID to vote in person, but requiring an ID for mail-in balloting. Because as you know, that's the biggest thing the left is doing, expanding mail-in balloting. And they've got to work really hard on making sure states clean up their voter rolls and take people off who have died, who've moved away, who are not U.S. citizens, which is becoming an increasing problem, unfortunately, in many areas around the country.
Well, you've done the legwork on it for sure. And if people want to learn about what you've researched and how you can greatly tell the story, they can pick up your book, Our Broken Elections, How the Left Changed the Way You Vote. Hans, thank you for coming on the show with us today. Happy baseball opening day. It's a big day here in St. Louis, and hope you take a little bit of that joy with you throughout the afternoon.
I will do it. Thanks for having me.
All right. Sounds great, Hans. He's a Nationals fan. That doesn't surprise me. I don't think they're going to be very good this year. I think the Cardinals are. Jeremy Boyer is one of the organists for the St. Louis Cardinals, and he is also the organist for the Blues. He's going to join us at 1:25. Kind of interested in talking to him about what it's like to be an organist and to be able to have that opportunity to sway the crowd and move the crowd through the game and keep it entertaining. But he's also got an album out, and it's called At the Pearly Gates of Baseball Heaven, and it's available today on Amazon Music, and we are featuring some of his music throughout the show. So enjoy that throughout today's St. Louis opening day. Let us know in the comments on our YouTube channel if you are somebody who is going to get to go to opening day. We've got a lot of people from the station who are down there. We're not. We're sitting in the studio. If you want to keep us company, we'd love to have you. Go vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Are you a St. Louis Cardinals baseball fan? Yes or no? Let us know in the comments. We'll be back in a minute.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
I'm ready to play today. Look at me, I can be
The Illinois Family Institute. I'm very excited to be able to talk to you about the Illinois Family Institute. I'm going online right now as we speak to IllinoisFamily.org. And you go to IllinoisFamily.org, you can sign up for their newsletter and their alerts and be alerted to what is going on in the state of Illinois. One of the things that I want people to know is how to get connected with the information. What is the progress that the left is making in Springfield, Illinois? And what can somebody who is like you or maybe like me that has a Christian worldview, a Christian perspective, do to know about it and to potentially influence it? You have a value in this conversation, but you need to be informed first. The Illinois Family Institute refers to their mission as boldly bringing biblical perspectives to public policy in Illinois. And, you know, when we talk about people going to serve in government and be representative of large groups of people, don't forget that you are one of those people, and how you see it and how you want the future of the state to go matters. Illinois Family Institute is there to uphold faith, family, and freedom, and they need you to be a part of it. All I'm asking you to do is go consider signing up for their newsletter. If you go to IllinoisFamily.org, you'll be able to see there where you can sign up for their newsletter, get their alerts, and get connected to the information that you can react to and care about. IllinoisFamily.org.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Sherlock Holmes, we have a new mystery.
My dear Watson, what conundrum requires our sleuthing?
It's these high gas prices, Sherlock. How do I stop paying too much at the pump?
Elementary, Watson. Simply use the cashback app, Upside.
The Upside app has eluded my attention.
Oh, come now, Watson. Upside is the revolutionary app that's free to download, and you get real cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I use it all the time, and I've already made around $200.
So you can really make cash back just for buying the gas you have to buy anyway.
Precisely, my dear Watson. I have the app open now. Look, there's a gas station not far from here offering 25 cents per gallon cash back.
Sherlock, you've done it again. I will now use the the Upside app and earn cash back on every gallon of gas I buy.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code HOMES to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code HOMES for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code HOMES for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Save up to $7,500 on a new hybrid HVAC system and save an additional 20% when bundled with attic insulation. This is a limited time offer. For details and a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Big ideas, real debate, solid entertainment. You found it here.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
97.1 FM Talk. This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
You know the roof on fire. We go boogie, oogie, oogie, jiggle, wiggle, and dance like the roof on fire. We go drink drinks and take shots until we fall out.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Before we get to Wiggins America, lots of information coming out on Twitter right now that the protests at the Tennessee State Capitol, the protesters have stormed the Capitol. So I think these are called insurrections. I don't know if the details matter not at all because they haven't always mattered. But in two pieces of, I guess, non-related news, protesters have pushed their way into the Tennessee State Capitol, and the people on the Charlie Kirk here says a bunch of high schoolers played hooky from school today and are getting extra credit from teachers probably to stage some sort of insurrection protest at the Tennessee State Capitol. And there are videos on this, so you can see this on Twitter. I'll retweet one of them. But in other news, Jacob Chansley, who is the QAnon shaman, he got an early release today. That's interesting. He's in a halfway house now. He was supposed to be there for years. So that's today in insurrection news. We don't have a sounder for that, but maybe we should. You can get one?
I can get one.
Can you do one live right now?
Insurrection news.
Wiggins America.
Can we just cut that?
Wiggins! I hope not.
I should have tried to do the Wiggins America sounder by mouth. That would have been good, too.
Did you hear that the Annie Frey Show was making insurrection jokes on Cardinals Opening Day?
They had a whole segment called Insurrection News.
Yeah, they even made a sounder for it.
It was all planned. They clearly had planned it.
Yeah. Wait, is that the Mario song?
Yeah, I think I got confused.
Insurrection News.
That was a compensated promotion for Chris Pratt, who is also maybe conservative and a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
And he's in the Mario movie.
So we bring him into the fold.
Yeah, this is all related.
Just put our arm around Chris Pratt. Now you're one of us, buddy.
Yeah. Chris Pratt's like, I don't want anything to do with this.
Hang on, guys. I don't know. All right. I've got what here is called Baby Boomer Life Skills. And I'm going to read them to you and find out whether or not you think. Now, the article is saying all of these are now useless. But I don't necessarily agree.
You have all these skills?
Do I have all these skills?
Mm-hmm.
At one time, I would have had most of these skills,
In
but
your prime?
they are falling by the wayside. I didn't say that. You said that.
Baby boomer life skills.
Baby boomer life skills.
You
now,
know,
these are
you know
things
the,
that,
the majority of our audience are baby boomers, right?
well, that's why I think that it would be fun to debate some of these because I think some of them are still pretty valid. But
All right. So
the article's saying no, they're all gone. Number one, reading a map. You don't technically have to do this much anymore, but do you think that's still a valuable life skill to have?
For sure.
I do too, because of the apocalypse.
The EMP.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And nobody can argue with that. Hannah, Brad, you didn't chime in. That means you agree.
Sure.
I do think it is important to know how to read a map.
Do you really? Have you ever done it in your life? Like read a road map to use on a trip?
No, I haven't. I read maps in school. It was important then.
It's just like teachers telling you you can do math, but you can't use a calculator. You need to learn how to do it yourself.
Right.
And now we're hiring AI. What was that one story you did where they're going to implement into education how to use AI to do things for you?
Yeah.
So just teach the AI to just anticipate everything and do it yourself, and then we just sit here like vegetables all day.
No, they legitimately said, we're going to teach kids how to ask better questions of AI.
Yeah.
Where would you find a map if you wanted to use it? Where do they sell them? Where would they be?
I think you go to randmcnally.com. You get a map there. Number two, driving a stick shift. Any need for this anymore, Brad?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Everybody should know how to drive a stick shift.
Why? For what purpose?
For driving a stick shift.
Or just not driving.
Okay, let's say you're in an area where you need to get away, and the only thing that's there is a car with a stick shift. You need to know how to get away.
And the keys and a full tank of gas.
There's a random car sitting there, but it's a stick
that would
shift.
be the worst odds
Maybe
ever.
it's an emergency, and the person that drove you there or whatever had a heart attack or something. You got to get them to a hospital. You've got the keys, you've got the ignition, but oh no, I can't drive a stick shift.
I don't think it's a bad thing to know.
Do they still make?
Yeah, you got to.
Oh,
order,
yeah, they
you
do.
got to order
They're
them.
sports cars usually.
You go faster.
You got to row your own.
I like that we have to come up with scenarios to use these things.
Yeah, and they're all in case of
very specific.
I've always wanted to learn how to drive a stick shift.
Yeah.
Like number 3 would be using a bow and arrow. It's like, well, I don't really need to. And Brad's like, well, what if a deer was attacking you?
What if you're hungry?
Yeah. All right. Number 3. By the way, I've never learned to drive a stick shift. Never in my life.
I'm not surprised.
I know.
You'll be the first to go.
Number 3. Yeah, I know. Writing in cursive.
Laying
Oh,
dead
yes.
next to the
That is important.
car in the field.
Dead in the car,
With
not
his
able to
hand-
drive it.
With his hand on the shift and the other hand on the clutch. I don't know what to do.
Sitting backwards upside down in the seat.
So many
Why
pedals.
are his hands on the pedals? Number 3 is writing in cursive.
That
It's
is
like
important.
he couldn't drive a stick shift.
Why is it important?
Writing in cursive?
Writing in cursive.
Well, your signature, I think it's important.
Well, you don't have
I
to
heard
write
that,
a cursive signature.
In some schools, they're not teaching it anymore, and I was shocked.
I think this is a conspiracy because I think we've been complaining about cursive not being taught in schools for about 20 years. And everyone always responds, teach it in my school. It's like,
Yeah.
what schools are these not being taught in? But that is certainly something my kids learned how to. My kids have gone to 3 different schools in the course of their grade schools, and all the schools
That's good.
cared about cursive. And one of them was public.
The question is, do we need it, though? Because I think they are still mostly teaching it.
What is the purpose of cursive?
I think it's
Why
just to
would they
write a
not
little
teach it?
faster.
That's what I was thinking too. The purpose of it was to go faster. And
You guys seen Billy Madison?
Rirudo?
yeah.
Those are Z's.
Would you like to try Buzz?
You can't just start making up your own cursive letters.
You're right.
And
Adam
if
Sandler
people,
proved that.
If people are going to write faster, so they're connecting their letters, but they're just doing it in their own way, which is totally the next thing.
That's
to
what
happen.
that's what I do. That's what most people do now, isn't it? You just write however you want, not really in cursive, not really in print. You're just writing.
But if you were writing in cursive, you wouldn't connect letters together that weren't either obvious print or cursive. Do you make
I don't know. When I'm writing my name,
make
which is
your
what
own
I
font?
usually am writing, there's a very specific. My name flows in a way that's not either or. It's
But
just
that's a signature doesn't count.
okay.
Because in my signature, I'll show you.
Show the screen so that they can duplicate and sell it.
Yeah. That's my signature. It's an A and a loop,
A loop and then
an F, and the tail of a Y.
and a Y. Yeah.
That's not cursive.
A loop FY.
This is PhD level scribble.
Yeah.
So I mean, cursive. If you were going to write notes for somebody, I don't even know why you would need to do that.
You don't really need to do that stuff anymore.
But if you're going to write stuff down, I just think you need to have an agreed upon way to communicate in written form. And I think that Billy Madison is the best example of why.
Well, skipping ahead, just since we're on the topic, I'm skipping a couple here, but I'm going to go to writing letters. Is there any reason to write letters?
Are you talking about notes,
Whether
or just
they
like
be-
your alphabet?
No, not writing down individual characters, but writing letters, whether they be handwritten or typed out letters of any kind.
Email?
Do we have a reason for that?
It's an email.
But in the mail.
Yes.
Is there any reason to send a letter in the mail anymore?
Outside of like, I don't know, maybe Christmas letter?
That's the only time I ever get any. And it's
yeah,
very
I get
few.
a lot at Christmas. Birthday letters, birthday notes.
Anybody in here send out a Christmas letter?
No.
My grandpa does.
That's excusable. The Christmas letters.
I'm trying hard.
No, stop. This is the same thing as
I
the
like
dinners.
hearing
What's wrong
from-
with Christmas letters?
Go ahead, you go.
It just takes a lot of time to read.
It does. It does.
And I know this stuff about you already. If we're close enough that you're sending me letters, I already know this information about you. I don't know. It's generational.
It is.
Millennials aren't sending letters. And if you are, you're doing it because you think you have to. You don't have to. Let it go.
I tell you what, I really do appreciate, though, the Christmas card that has just a paragraph of, hey, been thinking about you, something that's personalized to me, that's not typed for everybody, but it's just to me. I do appreciate those.
What about a thank you card?
Those are important.
Get rid of those. No.
What?
Get rid of thank you cards
I
entirely.
think they're important.
They're worthless.
I think
They mean nothing. It is a form letter that the person is writing over and over and over. Thank you for
That's
the
not true.
blank
That's
fill-in
not.
toaster.
That is not. I don't.
It's
then
clear
good
that
for
the
you.
only time Ryan's ever felt obligated to send thank you cards is after he got married.
It seems a bit entitled to me, Ryan. You've never written a thank you letter for something other than
For wedding gifts, and that's about it.
ungrateful,
And he's
unthankful.
still mad about it.
No, I will send a text to somebody that says thank you because I feel like that is even more.
You think that's more
personal.
personalized?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I don't know, St. Louis, if you can hear the look of disgust on Hannah's face. Did you hear it, Ryan? It was right next to you. Did you feel it?
I felt the fire. It got hot in here.
Hannah, why is a thank you?
screen
Why is
behind
a
you.
thank you card important? Why is it better than a text?
A text takes like 3 seconds to send, and anybody can do it. I don't know. I think it's more personable to get a handwritten note or something and make it more personal. It doesn't just have to be thanks for the toaster - Hannah.
Let's all give Ryan toasters.
Here's how you know they're form letters. Thank you so much for the gift of, and then whatever it is. Because nobody writes thank you for the gift of. They're just filling in space in their thank
Have you
note.
never gotten a meaningful thank you card?
Never in my life.
I'm waiting.
Are you doing things that people are grateful for?
No, I'm giving them very little. Here's $10 towards your next Panera trip.
Is there more to this list? We should probably move on.
Traditional grammar.
Yes.
Right? It's saying that because we've changed the way we communicate so much, that
And caring about it.
we don't need to worry about, because we're communicating through emojis, and who cares about whether you type "it's" with an apostrophe or not. That's what it's saying. I completely disagree.
As somebody who is I'm dramatically an advocate for good grammar, I have a confession to make. When I voice to text
Oh, yeah.
Jared's name, it spells it wrong, and I don't correct it.
The first time you did that, if you would have,
Mhm.
it would know that you were saying,
That's false because I corrected it a million times before I was like, they know, they get it.
well, then I stand corrected. Because I thought the same thing because my wife's name is not spelled
It's not spelled
traditionally
normally.
either.
I've gone into the system to try to teach it the word. Mm-mm.
Okay.
Are we all pretty big voice to texters?
No.
Yeah, and watching somebody voice to text is kind of uncomfortable, isn't it? Because
You're
they're like,
looking
you know
at me
what?
like you've been uncomfortable.
Instead
You've
of
been made
calling this
uncomfortable.
Are you trying
person,
to tell me something?
I'm going to talk into my phone like a robot.
Instead of calling them?
Yeah, because you could say, "Hey Annie, I'm going to meet you at the downtown St. Louis Arch at 5:00 tonight," but instead I will say, "Hey Annie, comma, I am going to."
It's weird because the first thing you said I thought was the robot version.
No, that was the nice version.
Go back and listen to that because that first thing was how you normally talk on the phone.
Yeah, a little stilted on the phone.
Why did you talk like that?
I don't know. I get all my personality out on the radio.
The alternative. Did you run out at 12:53?
I do.
Got a rough week ahead. The alternative to voice to text is to just text with your fingers. It's not to call people. That's crazy stuff.
It's just weird to hear people voice to text. Admit it. They're talking like they're AI into their own phones.
You're not talking. You're just talking so it's clear.
Number 5, sewing.
That's very important.
They're
to
saying
know.
sewing is no longer necessary and
Why?
can go by the wayside.
I bet you it's because fast fashion is so cheap. It's easy to replace stuff, but that's really not sustainable.
That is one of the reasons, although they said it did make a comeback during COVID because people were all inside and
Bored.
weren't buying as much and they were bored.
And they had a stick shift in their garage and they couldn't go anywhere. They didn't know how to drive.
Didn't know
it.
how to drive it.
Still have a stick shift in my garage. I can't go anywhere.
You don't know how to drive a stick shift?
I know how to. It's just broken. Couldn't fix that car yet.
Can we all agree
Have
on
you had
this
Ryan look at it?
I would rather not.
Yeah, I mean, I can take a look.
Don't even look directly into the stick shift.
Right, Ryan would look at it and be like, "Yep, it's broken."
Oh yeah, you ain't going anywhere with
Give
that.
it an old try. He gets in and he's switching on the clutch with his hand.
I do like I do before I play
It's not
guitar.
working, Brad, I
Tune
think.
it up. real good. Walk around like kicking the tires. Let's see here. Yep, that's broken.
Where's the clutch on this one? Is it in the front or is it in the back?
This a VW bug or this a truck? You got to tell me ahead of time because I can't tell the difference.
That's the bicycle, Ryan. Gonna want to come over to this side of the garage.
We can all agree on this one. Number 6, using a landline. No need for it, right? You can get rid of landlines.
No.
You just want to disagree with me.
No, I want to support the boomers who still have them, like my parents.
So it's okay to be grandfathered in, but if you're getting a new phone line, there's no reason to get a house
I'm
line.
super opposed to kids having phones. And if your kids don't have phones, you need a phone in the house.
What about a flip phone? Because the purpose is not to get on the internet, right?
Flip phones die. Flip phones get lost. It's hard to say. I don't know. I don't know that I'm 100% sold on that. That's like one of those things that I think could come back into some sort of practicality, a little bit like albums, records have. I'm not totally down on that. But at this point in time, definitely, there's nobody our age who's like, what we really need in this house is a phone on the wall with a cord. That's not happening.
Last one, Brad. Changing your oil personally. They're saying there's no reason for you to know how to do that anymore. You don't need to.
I have big thoughts on this one.
It's cheaper to go someplace. It's easier to go someplace.
Oh my gosh, you agree?
Oh yeah, it's absolutely cheaper to do it.
Wow, I would have thought you were dissenting
No,
there.
I still think that you should change your own oil. I don't know that there's a great reason for it. Like the reason I change my own oil is because I'm particular about the kind of oil that goes in my vehicle. And also, I've worked at those places, and I've seen some of the people that work there, and
You enjoy it, too.
I do.
So it's a hobby.
Yeah.
What are these people doing? Pouring Kool-Aid in there?
Putting wrong filters on, forgetting to fill it with oil, all sorts of things.
You want to name names?
Yeah. Can you tell us where?
I will off air.
We'll be right back with Tyrus. Don't go away.
What's wrong with Rick? He's kind of spacey today.
That's Rick's identical twin, Scott. He's not used to answering to Rick.
What's going on?
Rick asked me to keep it secret, but he asked his twin to cover his shift so he could go to Diamonds Direct to shop.
But this is a jewelry store.
Yeah, I know, but the prices and selection are so much better at Diamonds Direct. Rick doesn't want the boss to get suspicious, so Scott's here in case the boss sees Rick at Diamonds Direct.
But that would mean that the boss is at Diamonds Direct too?
Yeah, we have a lot of secrets.
You never know who you'll run into at Diamonds Direct. With unbeatable direct importer prices, the highest quality diamonds, the most sought-after designer rings, the best customer service, the strongest guarantees in the industry. It's just a no-brainer.
You think if Scott had a mustache, would he look like me?
No.
Go where everyone else goes. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Well, what if I shaved?
Still no.
For store hours, directions, and more, go to diamondsdirect.com.
When the taxpayers approved Prop S for Francis Howell, they had no idea that there would be an $80 million cost overrun. The current board voted for and allowed it to happen. $80 million of your tax dollars. Hi, my name is Jane Pushkar, and I'm running for the Francis Howell School Board. Francis Howell is now going from a guaranteed surplus to a dire financial situation. With a degree in accounting and an MBA, I know where to look for cuts. Take back Francis Howell Finances. Vote for Jane Pushkar on April the 4th. Paid for by Friends of Jane Pushkar, Ron Pushkar, Treasurer.
Updating your home with James Hardie Siding has never been more popular. With all the options available, you need a partner to ensure you maximize your investment. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, Board and Batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. They also carry Anderson and Marvin windows and doors. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today. sidingexpress.com.
Let's talk about the Vitae Foundation event coming up. It's the St. Louis Annual Pro-Life Dinner. I would love for you to be there. I would love to meet you there. I'm going to MC the event. And guess who's coming to town? Kevin Sorbo, Hercules, best known for a series, Hercules, The Legendary Journeys, which became the most watched TV show in the world. He also starred in a #1 independent movie of 2014, God's Not Dead. So Kevin Sorbo is going to come, and he's going to be the keynote speaker. I'm going to MC the event. I've done multiple of these events. They're amazing each and every time within a great dinner. And you get to support a wonderful cause. You get to work with Vitae Foundation and partner with Vitae Foundation to provide an opportunity that's focused on the women who are positioned to make the decision, the choice that faces them. They might be scared. They might be alone. Be a partner to them by being a partner to Vitae Foundation and enjoy this great event. Tuesday, April 11th with Kevin Sorbo at the Hilton St. Louis Frontenac. Register for this important dinner event by visiting him online and registering yourself or your table at prowomanaapproach.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
It's not clear yet how it happened. Elisa Brady, Fox News. The midair collision of 2 Black Hawk helicopters during a night training mission in Kentucky, killing 9 soldiers.
Our thoughts and prayers are with the families,
units and all those affected by this tragedy.
The Pentagon spokesman Brigadier General Pat Ryder at a briefing just underway as the crash probe continues. A fiery freight train derailment under investigation in Minnesota, where residents around the small town of Raymond had to wake up and evacuate. Some of the derailed cars were hauling a form of ethanol.
We take full accountability for this.
Catherine Farmer is president and CEO of the BNSF Railway, working with federal investigators.
We will also work with the sheriff. This is his town, your town, so we will continue to support in any way possible that we can do that.
No injuries reported as a cleanup and recovery operation begin. The Wall Street Journal and the U.S. government are demanding the release of an American journalist detained in Russia.
Moscow is making some very serious accusations. Authorities there say that reporter for our sister newspaper, the Wall Street Journal, 31-year-old American Evan Gershkovich, was arrested by the FSB intelligence agency. That's the successor of the old KGB, and charged with spying.
Fox's Greg Palcott, the Journal, vehemently denying the allegations, the White House condemning the detention. Russian state media says Gershkovich pleaded not guilty in a closed hearing today and is now in pre-trial detention until late May. Protesters descend on the Tennessee state capitol. Chance of do something after the school shooting in Nashville. On Capitol Hill, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries wants to meet with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, pushing for a background check bill and an assault weapons ban. Tennessee's 2 Republican U.S. senators are proposing grant money to help schools hire and train veterans and former law enforcement officers to be school safety officers. America is listening to Fox News.
The Dell Technologies semi-annual sale starts now with limited quantity deals on select performance PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Save on select Vostro laptops with built-in security features and select Latitude laptops with enhanced privacy, collaboration, and connectivity. Save on select essential accessories plus free shipping and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Do bank closures, inflation rate hikes, and the roller coaster of the market frighten you as much as it does me? You need to call Oxford Gold. Securing your IRA or 401k with real gold and silver is a portfolio protection plan, and Oxford Gold has made it as easy as 1, 2, 3. One app, one call, and you pick the precious metals. That's it. You now own real precious metals. Call Oxford Gold today and learn more about the 1, 2, 3 protection plan at 833-404-GOLD. That's 833-404-GOLD.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Feels like springtime across St. Louis this afternoon. Partly sunny, breezy, and nice. 65. The evening's delightful. Rain, maybe a thunder shower after midnight. Windy and mild all night long. 55. Friday, maybe a shower, thunder shower first thing in the morning. A very windy day. Then a break. 72 on Friday. The weekend is dry. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Keep it here for the real news. This is St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Mark Cox, Brian Kilmeade, Annie Frey, Mark Reardon, and Dana Lash on 97.1 FM Talk.
If you've ever hired a coach, it probably wasn't because you didn't know what you were doing or couldn't find out how to do it on the internet. It was most likely because a coach brings a level of accountability, additional knowledge, and useful second set of eyes that helped you achieve your goals. In a strange way, IT works the exact same way. If your organization has problems finishing IT projects or delivering consistent service to your team, you are not alone. We frequently get contacted to not only help regional companies solve the day-to-day service issues, but also complete IT projects that have stalled or never gotten off the ground. Because we have different teams with different skill sets, these things can happen together, fully coordinated and documented for your organization. When you work with Acropolis, the urgent tasks will never get in the way of the important strategic ones. We pride ourselves on having long-term clients, with some for more than 20 years. Just like many other companies in St. Louis, you can benefit from the size, skill, and accountability that our Acropolis team can offer. To find out more, visit us on the web at acropolistech.com. Protect, optimize, grow. Call Acropolis today and we can help.
On April 4th, St. Louis County voters will see Prop M on their ballots. But what does Prop M mean for county residents? Prop M states, shall St. Louis County impose an additional sales tax of 3% on retail sales of adult-use marijuana sold in the county? The estimated yearly $3.5 million collected from this tax can be allocated to fund police, parks, and roads. Learn more about Prop M at stlouiscountymo.gov/Prop M.
Paid for by St. Louis County, Missouri. Sam Page, County Executive, 41 South Central, Clayton, Missouri, 63105.
An update from the Illinois Family Institute, illinoisfamily.org. IFI's plan to rescue children from government schools is reaching a milestone with the launch of Good Soil, Good Seed.
Our children need discipleship, not indoctrination.
The Reverend Caesar LaFleur with Good Soil, Good Seed says funding raised through the new foundation will provide scholarships for children of need to attend biblically based private schools and grants for the startup of those schools.
We must get our children out of the government school system. We have to build a bridge that develops biblical character in our children.
Visit Good Soil, Good Seed at gsgsfoundation.com and go to illinoisfamily.org for Rescuing Our Children and to sign up for emails from IFI. illinoisfamily.org.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
And the question that kept coming to my mind as I thought about SB 233 is, who is my child? And to me, the answer is every single child in Georgia. Every single one, without exception. Not just my own, not just the ones that I gave birth to.
You're becoming like my most stable relationship.
Enough said.
Well, Tyrus, welcome to the show. You get to be on the Annie Frey Show on the St. Louis Cardinals opening day, and it's probably Boston's opening day too. But I just thought maybe a good go Cardinals for the home team. Maybe, yes, possibly.
So I don't celebrate opening day for the Red Sox because this is how it goes. If we win our opening day game, our season is usually trash.
Oh,
I need us to lose the first one.
You should play the Cardinals then. We'll take that. We'll take that victory.
Yeah. So we're playing Baltimore. Baltimore gave us the business a little bit last year, so I'm a little nervous.
Yeah. Well, in St. Louis, most people just don't go to work today. We walked around. We have a sister station that carries the Cardinals, and I think that there are legitimately 6 people in this building right now, and most of them are working on this show. So we are celebrating in studio, and we are grateful to get the opportunity to talk to you.
You guys got to tip your hat to St. Louis, your fan base. Like your XFL team is doing phenomenal.
Hey, go Battlehawks! Caw.
People in St. Louis come out and they support. So that's great, and that's despite economy and division and all that crap. You guys still show up, and that's the best fan. That's one. Hey, I got to tip the cap to you guys for that.
Well, we'll take that. Are we St. Louis City, our soccer team, or professional soccer team? I'm not really a huge soccer fan, but it's exciting to have a professional soccer team here. They're 5-0. I think 3-0 was tied for the best that had ever from an expansion team for a season start, and we've gone to 5-0, so we own that record too. So maybe I'll become a soccer fan after all. So thanks for saying that. We appreciate that. And baseball season will be long with plenty to talk about. That clip that I played coming in was a Georgia state rep. Her name's Ann Allen Westbrook. She's Democrat. And her comment there is, who is my child? Every single child in Georgia, every single one without exception. And I say this because I think that there kind of is a difference between the parties when it comes to children and the approach that is being taken towards children in a whole variety of ways. Our children versus my children. And I know you got kids, and I thought I'd ask you what you think about that.
I think it's just a politician talking because that's a hell of a food bill.
Well, yeah, we're paying it. The taxpayers are paying it when that's the mentality when state government takes a position like that.
I have more concern over someone saying they're all my kids, they're our kids, until another kid's interest supersedes her child's. It would just be nice for them just to tell us to us straight. Even say if I care about the welfare of children, and my administration's focal point is going to be making sure our kids have all the services they need or whatever, that would be okay. There's some kind of base there or plan. But again, it's feelings. I love everybody, which means you love no one. I always say, my buddies always laugh because they're like, oh, how come you don't like that guy? He doesn't have a problem with anyone. I have a problem with someone who doesn't have a problem with anyone. So, because if you get along with everybody, you don't get along with no one. So when you hear blanket statements like that from politicians, it means, one, I have no plan, and I'm going to try to kind of confuse you with feelings instead of facts, and we have way too much of that now.
Well, Tyrus, I think of you as somebody who often talks about personal responsibility, and you've got the responsibilities that you have cultivated for yourself in your life. We all have them individually, but it seems as though the culture today wants to take away at least consequences and also potentially responsibilities, which gives room for somebody to step in and start providing those things that we used to have to be responsible for ourselves. And I don't really think that you can say like a politician's going to step in and fix all of this. I think it has to start with the culture first.
No,
do we live without responsibility and consequence right now?
No, not in my household. Consequences I have a sign on the door that says, every step you take, there's a consequence. So, reason and accountability, unfortunately, if you try to take that away, you just get anarchy. And, when you're all about your feelings, and their feelings are usually rooted in narcissism, it's all about what's best for me without having to do effort. I just want everything given to me. I'm looking at the trend, for the last 3 months. Anytime if you dare to go on social media, there's some psychiatrist arguing with somebody over what a woman is, and it's like there's no reason there. There's no accountability there. There's no point to that argument. We all know what a woman is. But what concerns me is when you get to where it gets up to politics, to where you have someone who's going in, let's say, the Supreme Court who won't define what a woman is. How long before that's in court? How long before a domestic violence case is, well, he did this and this to the woman, and the defense is, well, is she a woman? We don't really know what a woman is, so we can't charge him for that. Is that, that's what happens when you want to integrate your feelings or any consequences, reason, or accountability. Where does it stop? And that's what we're dealing with right now. Is they have no care for anyone else but themselves, and it's very selfish right now. We're very first worldy, at least from the spectrum of social media and TV. If you turn those two things off, I don't see them at all.
Yeah, it's a really important point. We're speaking with Tyrus, co-host of the Tyrus and Tiff podcast, Fox News contributor. He also has a book that you should check out, Just Tyrus, a memoir. I think about, I don't know if that's a kind of a Gen X perspective. Gen X was able to exist pretty much in their entirety into their adulthood without having all of those things that you just mentioned. 24-hour news coverage of everything all the time with 7 different takes that you can expose yourself to. Social media where you can react to it and anticipate the world might read it. The generations past that, each and every one of them has become more and more exposed to this idea that you matter in a way that, is incredibly important. Nothing about you is wrong. You don't need to improve anything about yourself. You are perfect just the way you are. And anybody who tells you any differently is an evil perpetrator of word violence towards you. I don't feel like that's really a sustainable way for culture to continue down that path.
No, that's typically a 3-year-old, but luckily they grow out of it. The terrible twos have now become the terrible adults. And I don't, I'm a Gen Xer, and I don't even know if we can give ourselves a pass because I feel like it's our kids doing it. Now, I started late with my child rearing, but, it's such a weird thing from, like, our generation. We could get all information from a Post-it note on the refrigerator and follow it to a T and be independent and play outside and navigate through waters and be able to deal with life adversities when it's thrown at you. And then we are producing kids who can't do any of that. So I don't know if it's like overcompensating from a more independent childhood. I don't know what the science is behind it, but it's just weird how we just seem to go. It was just such a big drop off. Mm-hmm. And we're seeing it with the thing, and you're so right. if I say something to you that you don't like I don't think the St. Louis Cardinals had middle inning relievers worth anything, and then you can say, well, that's racist. I'm like, well, because we're not even having an argument. It's just you hurt my feelings, so You're a horrible person.
Yeah.
So the easiest thing for me to say is racist, or that's my toxic masculinity, or we just invent things, or to say because we can't have an argument anymore because we're just so sensitive. But I feel like it's more of we're being duped. We're equating what we're seeing on TikTok and social media as what's actually happening in the world, and it's not. So we need to turn it off. I said that on Gutfeld last night. I was like, we got to just turn it off.
Yeah.
That's the only way to stop it. You got to turn, because here's the deal. If you don't go on Instagram or social media, I had a week off because I had got a little wonky in a wrestling match in Mexico, and basically they said, you haven't stopped in 5 years. Why don't you just take a few days off?
Right.
So I did, and you know what I did? I put all my social media up, and I didn't watch any news for a week, and I just was participating in my neighborhood, my daily events. I didn't have one pronoun issue the entire time.
And
what I'm saying? I didn't have, there was no these ridiculous arguments and stuff like that. I'm not seeing them, and I was at Little League baseball games, and I was at soccer games and tournaments and all that stuff, and I didn't see any of the things that we have going on social media. So, which, and I was in 3 states, so it's not like I was just sitting in my porch going, oh, nothing wrong here. So I think we just got to turn it off.
Tyrus, I think about, you mentioned TikTok here, and none of my kids have phones. They are the only ones in their classes that don't. And I understand if it's a personal decision for every family. But I hear a lot of people talking in the wake of the, political, governmental question, should we ban TikTok? I hear other people, even in the news media, saying, parents, you should maybe take it away from your kids. It's okay, be strong, and do it. But you talk about Gen X raising these children now. I'm an old millennial, but we're putting kids in.
I'm a young Gen Xer, so we're
well, do parents right now, are they weak when it comes to monitoring this and just saying no, you're not doing it?
We got to say it. We can't say it like you. You're always gracious, and I find it hard to believe that anyone ever has an angry debate with you because you're always so polite.
Oh,
but maybe to a fault. Yeah, it's our fault. It's not a question. It's when there was kids who are on technology. Blah, blah, blah. Who's letting them? Because mom and dad are on technology. Get off your damn Facebook. Stop. If you've got more than 2 kids and you have time to take a picture of your food, you're off. You're not doing it right. Something's wrong. If you can go to work and be like, yo, I just watched the entire Netflix series of the Dahmer documentary. What were your kids doing while this was going on? And this is everyday things, or like spying on, to see what your ex-high school love is doing on Facebook. These are, or your own stuff. We're taking 47 selfie pictures or lip syncing to movies that no one remembers. If we're doing all those things, what are our kids doing? 1, they mimic our behavior, and 2, we give them a pair of headphones and put them on their iPad, and they're so quiet.
Right.
Go about us. So it's selfish. It's narcissism as parents. We have to stop blaming the kids, because here's the deal. Although my kids can download anything, figure out a code to get anything, but if I take the technology and lock it up, they're not getting it.
Right.
But that means that I can't be on technology. That means that I can't watch the whole game, and so therefore it's like we have to get back to parenting, because here's the deal. Our parents didn't do that. They parented, and that's why we were so prepared. And then we got in front of the babysitter, the technology, and we realized that we could still get back the stuff we want to do when we were kids, or play around on the social media all day instead of taking care of our kids. I mean, anything in moderation. It's just like alcohol, drugs, or anything. Social media is the same thing, and we're finding out probably a little bit too late that probably a child shouldn't even be looking at social media until at least 16. So we have to parent again.
And parents have to not care what other parents think either, because I think there's a huge amount of peer pressure.
My mother used choice words for people who wanted to interfere in her parenting, because my mother was strict. She was raising 2 boys. She couldn't do don't do it again, son. She had to rule the iron fist, because she was dealing with 2 aggressive young boys. So, they're like, boys will be boys. And my mother was like, not in my house. Boys have to be well behaved.
Yeah.
So they won't have. sorry, no sleepover tonight, you know, and that's what it was. And it helped mold me. We have to be the bad guys. We have to police our kids, and we can't use social media so we can play and be selfish. And that's what it is. Parents, we're being selfish, and I'm just as guilty. And luckily for me, seeing so much of it in the media, like, really woke me up. Like, wait a minute, why am I sitting here scrolling on Instagram? What am I doing? You know, put it away.
Yeah.
The world keep going. And like I said, I reduced all the way down. I have 2 social medias left, and I use them for work. And now I'm even getting to the point where, like, I will go 5-6 days without posting anything, and people will be like, "Are you okay?" Yeah, I'm fine. I'm out.
Never
in the
been
world.
better.
It's fun. Yeah, it's phenomenal. You know, so I think we just all need to just look in the mirror and step up.
Yeah, that is so true. And just be resolved to do what's best for your kids, even if it's tough for yourself or for the kids. That's basically parenting in a nutshell.
Yeah, it's not fun.
But there's high points. There's good stuff that goes along with it, of course.
I sat and watched 4 baseball games in 2 days in Florida, and my son's team, we were in a travel team tournament. We got smoked every game. I felt like I was in Fenway. And then I went to my daughter's soccer travel team, and guess what? Smoked again.
Yeah.
But I smiled, laughed, cheered for mine, cheered for everybody, you know, enjoyed the thing. And then when it was over, they're like, "Hey, did you get any pictures?" And I was like, "No, I left my phone in the car because I wanted to just be in the moment with my kids." And you know what my kids said? They weren't mad that I didn't have a picture.
Right. Yeah, because you were there.
Yeah, and I got a couple looks, no more dabs, Dad, no more dabs. Everyone knows that I'm your child. Stop saying it. So, you know, but be present. And I would look and I would see a mom deep in her phone, and I would just be like, "You're missing it." And here's the thing. They see you. My kids check me. I don't know if your kids do that when you're there. When you're present, you get the check. My daughter's good about it because, like, she'll be soccer dropping back, and I'll see the look, and I'll be like, "She's watching me. She's trying to see if I'm talking to other people, if I'm focused." You know, and it does. It's a thing, and we all need to get back. When our kids check, we have a rule: thumbs up. When I see the check, my thumb goes up, and people think I'm crazy. So I'll be like, thumbs up. I'm here.
I see
watching.
you. Yeah, I see you.
Yeah, you know.
That's great. Well, Tyrus, I hope that the Red Sox lose today for you.
Yeah, I don't
from
like
my heart.
That's negative. I'm not being negative, but I've been a Red Sox fan for a long time. We'll win the first game, nothing, and then we'll go 0 for 14. So I really need us to not do well today, but I have a feeling they don't listen to me anyways. I've sent a ton of emails to them just to bring up the single A guys on opening day, but no responses.
Well, I'm going to watch the score. The Cardinals are going to start here in a little while, too. So baseball is back. That is a positive thing, and I'm looking these days for anything I can say that's positive.
Fenway.
What's
nice
that?
Opening day. 40 degrees in Fenway.
Ooh, that's no fun. Yeah. It's about 60 degrees here today, so not too
It's a
too
good
bad.
day in St. Louis for baseball.
It is. All right, Tyrus, we'll catch up with you next week. Thanks for being here, as always.
Always a pleasure.
Talk to you soon. Tyrus, get his book. Seriously, if you've followed us along the years that he's been on the show and you are interested in what he has to say, it's really interesting to hear where he's come from. His book is called Just Tyrus, a Memoir. I did the audiobook and I listened to it. He reads the whole thing, so he's reading it to you, so you're familiar with it. And it's funny because you can even tell in the middle of the book, every once in a while you can tell, like, he's ready to move on. And he's talked about that on this show as well. It's just interesting to hear it in Tyrus's voice, and it's Tyrus's story. It's called Just Tyrus, a Memoir. A quick break. When we come back, a new guest to the show. I'm excited to talk to Jeremy Boyer. He is the organist for the St. Louis Cardinals. He's an organist for the St. Louis Blues. And there are several organists that they have, but Jeremy is there in Busch Stadium on a regular basis and playing the organ for you to keep you entertained. He's got a new album out. And this is not on his new album, but his album is called At the Pearly Gates of Baseball Heaven. It's available on Amazon Music today. So a local guy, if you want to support him and you like those baseball tunes, we should have a few of those throughout the course of this show. So if you hear that organ music, that's Jeremy Boyer, but on the show when we come back. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show.
If you want to see better in the new year, there's no better time to call Brenton Vision than right now. Mark Cox here. My friends at Brenton have everything you need to get the crisp, clear vision you've always wanted. Call them at 314-375-2020 or go online today to brentonvision.com. They are the only team in Missouri to perform all 7 FDA-approved forms of vision correction. That includes modern LASIK, permanent contact lenses, and if you have bad reading vision, they even have treatments for you too. So stop throwing your money away. My wife got lens replacement. She sees perfectly these days, and she loves it. Quit putting it off. If it's standing in your way of achieving your goals and your resolutions, Brenton Vision is here to help. Call them today at 314-375-2020. Tell them you heard Mark Cox talking about it. That's 314-375-2020. Or schedule right now at brentonvision.com.
When you're looking for a dentist, I want to encourage you to check out, and you can make the decision for yourself, of course, FoleyDentalGroup.com. Foley Dental is where I go, my family goes, and they provide all of the things you need for top-of-the-line, great technology that they've invested in when it comes to your teeth and your whole dental health. They can help you with a wide variety of things through your dental health, which is why I stand by them so much, because especially when it comes to sleep disordered breathing, if you or possibly even a child is experiencing some symptoms of sleep disordered breathing, you might not even know that that's where that is coming from. Through their dental care of you, they can help you guide yourself through that and get you solutions so that your breathing while you're sleeping becomes more natural, which is going to just domino effect into a better health situation for you. If you're in the market for a new dentist, please consider checking out Foley Dental Group on their website and scheduling a new appointment. A brand new facility located at 270 and 159. And when you walk in, you're going to be greeted with smiling faces who are going to take you through the whole process, whether you have just decided to change dentists or you haven't been in a long time. A great experience. Respect for you when you walk in, respect for you when you leave. Check them out at FoleyDentalGroup.com.
If you own a small business, you know the value of time. GetRefunds.com does too. That's why they've made it easy, no matter how busy you are, to apply for the Employee Retention Credit, or ERC. Go to GetRefunds.com to get started, and in less than 8 minutes, see if your business qualifies for ERC assistance. Your business may be eligible for a payroll tax refund of up to $26,000 per employee kept on payroll during COVID-19. GetRefunds.com has already helped clients claim over $3 billion in payroll tax refunds through the ERC. And they may be able to help your business too. There's no upfront charge either. They don't get paid until your business gets its refund. Many businesses believe they won't qualify based off incomplete or outdated information, so don't let this opportunity pass you by, because this payroll tax refund is only available for a limited time. Go to GetRefunds.com. That's GetRefunds.com.
Learn to make money 5 ways with rental real estate. Double your money with apartments. And get your map to financial freedom. And that map starts with a free workshop. Sign up now at lifestylesunlimited.com. Click on the Join Free Workshop tab and attend online or in person. That's lifestylesunlimited.com. Lifestylesunlimited.com. Again, that's lifestylesunlimited.com. Limited seating, unlimited potential.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Senator Eric Schmidt, he's back with us.
We had better take China seriously, like a heart attack seriously, that they're militarizing these islands. They flew a spy balloon over. They're not messing around.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
First thing I thought when I got in the stadium, this stadium's massive. It's unbelievable. It really is everything I thought it would be walking onto the stadium for the first time, and I can only imagine what opening day will be like.
During your winter warm-up, you said, you came out here, you looked at the field, and you told us, I'm ready. Yeah. You still feel like you're ready?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I'm ready. That's why I'm here, because I feel like I'm ready for sure.
Any of the players told you about what opening day will be like in here? I mean, the Clydesdales and the
everybody said it's gonna be crazy. Coming on a car, the Clydesdale, they said that shaking the Hall of Famer's hand. It sounds amazing. I'm really excited for tomorrow.
Well, that is 20-year-old Jordan Walker on his first opening day In St. Louis, today is opening day, and we are grateful that you are here with us. If you like this song, and of course, if you are in St. Louis, from St. Louis, been around St. Louis, this song definitely resonates with you and has a place in your heart. And here I'm going to talk to a man who plays this at Busch Stadium. Jeremy Boyer joins us. He's an organist for the St. Louis Cardinals, an organist for the St. Louis Blues, and he has a new album out that you can check out, and it's on Amazon Music. It's called At the Pearly Gates of Baseball Heaven. Available today. Jeremy, thank you for coming on with us today. It's so exciting to talk to you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So talk to me about this album that you have put out that people can check out on Amazon right now.
Well, all organ music, of course, and I wanted something that was baseball themed, and it's loosely related to Cardinals baseball with Meet Me in St. Louis, Take Me Out to the Ball Game, Here Comes the King. The album is actually it's titled after a Mike Shannon quote. And he had one time when I was playing at a game on KMOX said, I think that's Jeremy Boyer at the Pearly Gates tonight. So it was a Shannonism. So he laughed about it. And so that was kind of how I got its name.
So you play both for the St. Louis Cardinals and for the St. Louis Blues. You post videos. You have great social media. You post videos of yourself playing and reacting in real time. Before I ask you about what it's like to play for the Blues and the Cardinals, do you play organ anywhere else, or is it just professional sports?
Yeah, I play for a church full-time in South County, St. Louis, St. Francis of Assisi on Telegraph, and I do all their masses, their weddings, funerals, school masses and stuff. So it's all organ all the time, either there or at ball games. Yeah. It's Jeremy Boyer joining us right now. His album that is out on Amazon Music, At the Pearly Gates of Baseball Heaven. We'd love for you to check that out if you enjoy this, if you want to have it for a little mood setting in your home or in your car, in your headphones. I don't know if it gets you pumped up to work out. It'd make you smile, that's for sure. So you work with the Cardinals, you work with the Blues. Some of those, I tweeted at you last night, and you said that you're not on the organ today, but you will be shortly. That Here Comes the King at the beginning of opening day is a lot of Here Comes the King. And I said, is that recorded or do you sit up there live? I'll let you answer that question for us here on the show. Yeah, it's all live. And I've done, trips around the field with the Clydesdales before. And last year or 2 years ago, I guess, they had the anniversary of the 2011 World Series champions. And they had the motorcade that came out, and went around the fields with the Clydesdales. And I played Here Comes the King. And I think, I don't know how many times, 30 times in a row, something like that. So can you play that in your sleep? It seems like you could. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, probably. That's great. Speaking with Jeremy Boyer right now. So what's it like to sit up there? What is it? We'll start with baseball, and you can kind of tell us how it might possibly be different for Blues hockey. But what's it like to sit there and be watching the game? Because it's not like you're like, okay, at this time we're going to play this song, and at that time we're going to play that song. You're interacting with whatever happens in the game as the game goes. What's that like? Yeah, I mean, that's what's fun about it is it's very live and you're part of the feel of the game, and that's what's cool about it versus like a pre-recorded something or another. It's going to sound the same in every ballpark. I think that every ballpark organist or arena organist can add their own kind of flair or their own kind of style to a game. And if you're watching a game on like ESPN, and you're like, you might hear the organist and go, "That's in St. Louis because that's so-and-so playing the organ," and it's just got a certain sound to it. Like every place is different. Every organist is different. And then, it gives it a personality. If you hear Metallica in every stadium, it's going to sound the exact same, But like you hear the organist, you're going to go, "Oh, that's St. Louis," or you hear "Here Comes the King," or some of those like local sounds, and you can identify with that. So it's kind of a cool thing. How does St. Louis compare when it comes to in-game entertainment, like the organist that's playing? Is that something that most baseball stadiums do, or is that a dying art? How prevalent is your job across the league? Well, in St. Louis, it's huge. It's the Midwest market, and we love our tradition. We love a lot of the the things. I mean, it's a generational city. So folks have been here. Like my great grandparents came here, and they used to listen to Ernie Hayes play at Old Busch Stadium, and they love hearing that. As kids now, they have those memories. So that's pretty cool. And, like in baseball, I think about half of the stadiums have organists. In the NHL, really, there's a lot. I mean, it's like all but like 6 or 7 teams in the NHL that have out of 32 teams. So it's very prevalent in the NHL for sure. And then, like I said, at baseball, it's about half.
So what's the difference, or are there a lot of similarities between being the organist for a St. Louis Cardinals game and then switching over to hockey and doing a game for the Blues?
There's some differences. Like, I think in baseball, I play a little bit more because you can play between every pitch. We'll see how the pitch clock works for that this year. But
right.
You get to interact a little bit more frequently. That's where in hockey you have to wait for a stoppage and play, and then but then you get a little bit more time. So it's kind of you get a little bit more time. You can play a little bit more of a song versus like just a quick prompt. So I think that's the big difference between baseball and hockey.
So talk to us about where your passion for playing the organ came from. Have you played your whole life? Is it something you developed over the course of time?
Yeah, so like I guess when I was a kid, I loved sports. I played 4 sports a year. I went to a small school in Potosi, Missouri. I got to play football in the fall and then wrestled in the winter and then track in the spring and baseball in the summer. And on top of that, I got to be in the band and the choir because it was a small school.
Yeah.
So I developed a love for music and for sports, and it just gelled. It was like the perfect, fit. It was a marriage of the two, really to do sports music. When I was about 12 years old, I started playing, and I tried to play along with Ernie Hayes whenever he was playing at the old arena or Old Busch Stadium on my organ at the house. And so I started learning stuff then, and it was just something that I just loved doing. And then when I got to college at Southeast Missouri State in Cape, I got to do it there, and that's where it kind of really took off. I'm like, this is something I could do all the time, and this is something I love doing.
Well, we love it too, and I want to encourage people to follow you on your Twitter account at JAB's Music, at JABS Music, and because you play. I had said one time I was driving in my car and I was listening to Mariah Carey's Always Be My Baby. And I don't know why I was thinking this when I was riding in the car, but I loved that song in 1995 or 96 when it came out. I was in middle school, and it's kind of a childhood song for me. But when I was listening to it that day, I was like, what if she has captured this person and is holding this person who she's saying, you'll always be my baby? What if it's a hostage situation? And I was like, if you turn this into minor key, I wonder if it would have a different tone. And I just randomly tweeted that out. And then you went and played it on the organ. And it was terrifying. It changed the whole situation of that Mariah Carey song. But you just do stuff like that. Are you able to just sit down and play from ear, or how does that work for you?
Yeah, sometimes. I mean, I definitely play from, just from hearing stuff, and I play stuff that's written music too. I've got a music degree, so I learned how to read music as well, so I could do a little bit of both. But that's something I like to do a lot of times, blues games, especially I'll take a song from another team and I'll turn it into a minor, a funeral dirge.
Yeah.
So if they score, the Chelsea Daggers, the goal song for the Chicago Blackhawks, and when we eliminated them in 2016 and kind of ended their era of, their success or whatever, I played their goal song in a minor key during the handshakes, and I called it Sad Chelsea Dagger.
Oh.
And I play a funeral dirge version.
That's great. And the fans,
good fun.
I mean, and St. Louis has smart fans. I think that it probably makes your job even more fun and exciting when you do something that's even a little bit on the sly or clever. The fans in St. Louis, they tend to get it, and they're like, I see you. I see what you're doing here.
Yeah, and that's part of the fun of it too. And I feel like sometimes that whenever the team's not doing well, that's maybe some of the best parts for me is inserting a little humor into the situation, because even in bad situations, people are there to have a good time and they want to have a fun night at the park or at the arena, and you want to make it fun for them. So you do something kind of fun or clever that they're like, oh, I get you. That's kind of fun. And so I think that's the go-to sometimes whenever it's sad too. But yeah, adding some humor or some clever is always, I think, a good thing.
Well, it's such an interesting combination of skills and talent that you have to be so talented on the organ, but have to know baseball so well and hockey so well. And then on top of all that, you have to have a sense of humor. And Jeremy, you do a wonderful job of that. We enjoy what you provide St. Louis. And, happy opening day. Thanks for sharing some of yours with us here on the Annie Frey Show.
Thanks, Annie. Happy opening day to all of the listeners, and hope you guys have a great season this year. And go Cardinals.
That's right. Go Cardinals. We appreciate you being on with us today. Jeremy Boyer, he's the organist for the St. Louis Cardinals. He's an organist for the St. Louis Blues, and he has a new album out today. I really encourage you. This is a local guy who is serving our teams that we love so much here and entertaining us each time we go to the game. And if you've enjoyed it and you enjoy what he does, go support him, I should say, and check out his Amazon Music release. His album today is At the Pearly Gates of Baseball Heaven. Available today, right now on Amazon Music. There it is. That's Jeremy Boyer playing the organ for you, for me, for St. Louis. Happy opening day. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @AnnieFryShow.
So Jen Teskey, she's a realtor with RE/MAX Alliance, and she is an expert when it comes to the Illinois market. If you are looking to sell your home soon, would you please consider going with the very best? It's honestly in your best interest to reach out to Jen Teskey and meet her. And I mean, you're going to know immediately when you start talking to her, like, okay, I totally understand why Annie has partnered with Jen Teskey and RE/MAX Alliance. 618-541-1010. Call her or text her at 618-541-1010. Jen Teskey makes herself available to people who are looking to sell their house in the future. Maybe you're not calling her because you're like, I need my house on the market yesterday. Maybe you're thinking 6 months down the road, maybe a year, we're interested in possibly selling. I'd like to have a conversation with you because when that time comes, we want to be prepared. We want to make the improvements on the house and not spend the extra money in the places that aren't worth it. Jen Teskey has a team that's going to help walk you through that whole process so that you are prepared to sell quickly and for top dollar. And she is incredibly good at it. Like I said, once you sit down and talk to her, get on the phone with her, you're going to understand immediately why so many people choose Jen Teskey with RE/MAX Alliance. 618-541-1010. That's 618-541-1010.
Hi, Sarah. I'm sorry I'm late. The traffic is crazy.
Yeah, it is. And it doesn't help that gas prices have skyrocketed. I can't believe how much it costs for gas now.
Everyone's talking about how much gas is, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app, and I get cash back for every gallon of gas I buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid real cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yeah, real cash every time I buy gas.
What? That sounds like it could really add up.
I've made around $200 already.
Wow, that's serious extra money. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code EARN40 for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back in your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code EARN40 for a 25 cents per gallon bonus in your first tank. That's code EARN40 for 25 cents per gallon cash back in your first fill-up. Cashback's not available in gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
Finding great people to hire is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It's pretty difficult, right? Well, ZipRecruiter has mastered finding a needle in a haystack, so they take it to the next level. They make hiring so simple that it's like finding a needle in a needle stack. And that's why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. Here's what it's like to use ZipRecruiter. They have so many qualified candidates that it's easier to find the right ones for your roles. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's a lot of needles. So how do they do it? ZipRecruiter's powerful technology sends you candidates who are a great match for your job, and you can even invite your top choices to apply. So if you want less hay and more needles, head to ZipRecruiter.
And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service offers insulation services. Did you know 9 out of 10 homes are under-insulated? Increase your energy savings and comfort with better insulation. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Fact-checking the mainstream media daily.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You found it here. 97.1 FM Talk. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Appreciate you being with us this afternoon while we celebrate opening day here in St. Louis. St. Louis Cardinals will take the field a little while later. But we are here doing our thing, broadcasting as we normally would, and we're very grateful that you have shared some of this day with us. Always grateful when you choose to spend some of your time with us. Brad, do you have any big plans for watching the game? You're not going to go down to the stadium or anything?
I wish. I'm probably going to stay in the office and watch the game on TV as I finish up post-show stuff.
Yeah.
Then get home as quick as I can to watch it on my really big TV with my really good sound system so that I can see, let's see here. Let's make a bold prediction. So I can see Jordan Walker hit a walk-off home run to win the game.
Ooh. I'm okay with that. This is the only game that I would DVR and watch later. I don't think we have DVR'd it, but I am not a fan of watching sports at a later time. If the score exists, I want to know what it is, when it is, that score. But the pomp and circumstance behind what the Cardinals do before opening day, it's always fun to take it in, to see all of the people who are there, who are celebrating, and to celebrate with them. This might be one that I go back and watch, maybe with the kids after school.
Seems like a great plan. I still can't bring myself, even with all the pomp and circumstance, I can't bring myself to watch a DVR'd live sporting event. I actually have a whole DVD set of the 06 World Series, which also included Game 6 and 7, I believe, of when the Cardinals played the Mets.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's the Adam Wainwright, Yadier Molina embrace.
Yeah. And I still, I pull him up, but I can't watch it.
Who'd we strike out? Beltran?
Beltran, yeah. He buckled his knees, couldn't take the bat off his shoulder.
And then he became a Cardinal.
Mm-hmm. And he talked about that, too. He goes, this is just an unhittable pitch.
Was Beltran on the 11 team?
I believe so.
So did he come and win a World Series with us? I have to Google that.
Yeah, I can't answer that one off the top of my head.
There's a lot of excitement, I think, around the St. Louis Cardinals this year. And if you missed it yesterday, we spoke with Matt Pauley from KMOX Sports Open Line host. But last season was such a storybook season, especially, they were a good team throughout the majority of the year, as a good baseball team, but there were just so many human interest stories that went along with last season with Yadier Molina and Albert Pujols coming back. I forgot how late in spring training we made that signing. I think it would have been maybe the day before the original opening day was supposed to be that we signed him. But he had an extra week with the Cardinals because the season was delayed. But it was the proverbial bottom of the ninth of spring training, and they're like, oh, let's put Albert Pujols on the team. Because do you remember that the way it all went down was there was a 24-hour, 36-hour text messages and phone calls between Ollie and Albert and we want you here. Get on a plane and come here and talk to us. And he's like, okay. So he gets on a plane and comes to St. Louis or wherever, Florida, wherever they were, and they hash it out and they got it done. And it was just a great season. And then the postseason was just awfully painful. I don't even like to think about it. And then you pivot to this year, which is why I think it's kind of refreshing to look at, especially the Jordan Walker case, where he's 20 years old and he's a beast of a man. You're going to hear people say, Jordan Walker is a really big dude. But you're going to see him and you're going to say out loud, he is a really big dude because he's that big. He's that massive. This could be an incredible new era for St. Louis Cardinals baseball. There are a ton of people involved in the farm system that could come up and be Rookie of the Year this year. I don't know, Brad, what your thoughts are. You pay a lot of attention to this. I think the season ahead looks exciting and young and hopeful.
It does. It looks incredibly young because you've got guys, I start thinking of names who are you going to have? Well, Brendan Donovan, he's a fairly young guy. You got
Gold Glove.
Gold Glover. Lars Nootbaar, still a young guy. You've got the second baseman. Mason Wynn, but he's not up with the big team, but the future's bright, and that kid is going to he's the shortstop of the future. Don't expect the Cardinals to go after somebody. They got their shortstop of the future right there. And as a matter of fact, if Tommy Edman or Paul DeJong goes down with an injury, I think you'll see Mason Wynn up with the big team pretty quick.
Right.
Nolan Gorman was the guy I was trying to think of. Nolan Gorman, slugging, big power-hitting left-handed hitter. They said he made a bunch of strides in spring training and stuff like that, so he's part of the future. Dylan Carlson even, he's young. Last year or the year before, Tommy Edman, the whole team. You're led by your veterans on this team. It's Adam Wainwright, naturally. Granddad now, I guess.
Isn't he the oldest person in Major League Baseball right now?
I think he might be. I can't confirm that, but...
Who is the oldest player?
But then you're talking about guys your next two oldest guys are Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado.
Yeah.
So you've got a strong core.
Goldschmidt, I think, is 35, I want to say. And Arenado's younger than that.
Yeah. And that's your leadership for the future coming in there. And then you've got, Wilson Contreras. He's not an old guy either. So you've got a fairly young team, really talented. The corners of the infield is probably the best corner infield in Major League Baseball. I can't think of a duo that's better than that.
2 Gold Gloves last year and 2 MVP finishers.
Mm-hmm.
Top 3.
Yep, and then Brendan Donovan played a lot of second base, so your infield had 3 Gold Glovers in it. So you've got a really good team here.
Keep talking. I'm Googling
you want me
ages.
To keep going?
Well, it's looking like it might be between Adam Wainwright and Verlander. Nope, Adam got him.
Yep.
Sorry.
And then there's also, you stop and the biggest question mark about this team is starting pitching, but Miles Mikolas is really underrated. I don't think people realize how good of a pitcher he is, and if Jack Flaherty can stay healthy, that's the gamble of the team, right? If your starting pitching's there, you're going to have a really good team because the bullpen, the closers, offense, it all should be there for this team.
I want this to be easy. Satchel Paige is listed.
Satchel Paige.
I'm like, that's an old
Wasn't
guy,
he
right?
like 50?
Yeah, 59 years, 80 days.
Wow. I don't know if you listen to many baseball podcasts, but I was...
I don't listen to many podcasts.
You know who John Boy is, though.
Yeah.
I love John Boy's breakdowns, but he also has a podcast called Talking Baseball, and his co-host is Jake. Well, Jake has his own little podcast thing, and he was talking about the team that
sure, he'd appreciate you calling it his own little podcast thing.
Well, yeah. I want to say its name, and I want to say it's like Wake and Jake or something like that, but anyway, it's more massive than anything I've been a part of.
But you like it.
But I like the show, and he came on there, and he was talking about the team that everybody's sleeping on is the St. Louis Cardinals. He goes, we're undervaluing this team. We're under-respecting this team. He said, watch out for them. And I like that.
Yeah.
I saw Codified Baseball had Cardinals at 9% chance of making the World Series this year, and I think that's a little low.
I saw 538 does that. Did you see that?
No.
538 apparently projects the likelihood of a World Series finish. Gosh, where did I? And I found that to be interesting because that's not usually why I go to 538. It's usually politics, but I think it had us at 4%. But they had the Brewers winning more games. Is it just because it's their pitching staff?
It has to be their pitching staff because there's nobody else on that team that matches up with anybody we have. And it has to be their starting pitching staff because guys like Corbin Burns are really, really good. However, that Codified Baseball one, they had them at 7% chance of making the World Series, so they actually had them below the Cardinals, which is interesting because yesterday when we talked to Matt Pauley, he was saying that he believes that the Cubs are actually going to be better than the Brewers, but the Cardinals are going to win the division going away.
Corbin Burns lost his arbitration battle with the Brewers and was really miffed about the whole process and is like, yeah, this has really hurt my relationship with the team. And I was like, hey, come here. He might be my third interest in getting between Ohtani, Trout, and Corbin Burns. Can you pull that off, Mo? I'd like to see that.
Get all of them. That's your starting rotation.
Benjamin Hockman he's with the Post, right? Yeah, he's a sports columnist for the Post-Dispatch, tweeted out today, this is a new sandwich you can get at Busch Stadium. Tell me if you're eating this. It's called the 314 sandwich. It's Nashville hot chicken on a Cardinals red Vincent Van donut with maple bacon and Shaq's sauce. It's a Big Chicken. It's Shaq's place. Nashville hot chicken, a Cardinals red Vincent Van donut with maple bacon and Shaq sauce.
Am I eating that? I want to eat that so bad.
I'd like to try that.
I don't eat bacon, and I don't, I try to stay away from, but if just once, I would definitely.
You don't eat bacon because of
my heart.
Your heart. You're protecting your heart that way.
But I would
you'd try
it
a bite of that.
Oh, absolutely.
We get one of those and
once.
cut it in fourths and share it in the room. I'd
for
try
sure.
It. When the Gateway Grizzlies came out with their donut burger and everyone was like, oh, this is disgusting. I have had the donut burger before. My husband used to work with the Gateway Grizzlies. And so I tried it one time and it was not bad. And it also was not huge. It was actually, it did not seem gratuitous in the way that it was portioned, but I couldn't eat the whole thing. But it was weird and it tasted good. So I don't know. Chicken and donuts, this is no different than chicken and waffles.
No.
Right?
I think it works. And then you add the maple bacon on there, that all goes together.
Yeah. A donut, a Vincent Van donut, a red one. I don't know that it says, it just looks like a red glazed donut. I'm going to retweet it. If you want to see what I'm talking about right now, I just retweeted it. You can follow us at Annie Frey Show. We're going to take a quick break here in a minute, but I have the YouTube live chat poll up today, and I kind of wanted to literally poll the audience and find out how many of you are St. Louis Cardinal baseball fans. So the question is, are you a St. Louis Cardinals baseball fan? I'm curious how many people listening and watching are active participants in the St. Louis Cardinals fandom. And we'll talk about that a little bit when we come back, but we need you to go vote and just let us know if you voted yes, maybe how long you've been a Cardinal fan or what your favorite Cardinal memory is. If you're not a Cardinals fan, maybe you're a fan of a different team, or maybe you're not a fan of baseball at all, and you can let us know that as well. I'll ask you, Brad, are you a Cardinals baseball fan?
Not at all.
Not at all?
No, yeah, I love the Cardinals. I've always loved the Cardinals. I can still, this is weird, I always go back to growing up on the farm, and my grandpa would always listen to Jack Buck. Would your dad or grandparents do this? My grandpa would turn the TV broadcast down and turn Jack Buck up on the radio.
Sure,
and listen to it.
Lots of people I can hear doing that.
I can still hear Jack Buck's voice echoing across my grandparents' farm, and it's just a childhood memory that I love.
Definitely is something to listening to a baseball game on the radio. And I'll tell you, when it comes to sports, I'm a huge sports fan. I love watching basketball. I love watching football. We have shifted to college football in my house in the last few years, but I'm happy to watch the Battlehawks as well. And I love watching hockey as well. My husband is a bigger hockey fan than I am, but I'm a big Blues fan. I'm go home team. I haven't gotten into the soccer portion of it yet, but I'm looking forward to sitting down and taking in a St. Louis City game. The one that I can sit and listen to any day of the week on the radio is baseball. And the rest of them, the way they translate into the radio, especially the action, everybody wants to talk about how you need to make baseball go faster, go faster, go faster. I just love the mood that exists when you have the baseball game on the radio. So we're looking forward to starting baseball today. Like I said earlier in the week, I'm looking forward to having something other than the news to put on in the evenings once again. So celebrate St. Louis Cardinals opening day with us here. We appreciate it. Come say hi on the live chat. We're lonely. Everybody else is at the stadium. Come say hi to us. We miss you. And we'll be back with the whole crew in studio. Don't go away.
Tens of thousands affected by the toxic water at Camp Lejeune are left with death, cancer, Parkinson's, dementia, birth defects, and other serious illnesses. And along with the harm, so many worries.
My family drank the Camp Lejeune water. What if our health gets worse and we need more financial help?
How do I protect my VA benefits and get the compensation I deserve and need?
The answer is simple. Call James Harris Law, the experienced, trusted law firm that can get you significant compensation while protecting all your VA benefits. We're already fighting for hundreds of Marines, families, and civilians who drank Camp Lejeune water. But if you miss the deadline, you could forever lose your right to the justice you deserve. So call our Camp Lejeune legal helpline now. Now may be your last chance to receive full compensation. Don't delay. Call 800-337-6655. That's 800-337-6655. 800-337-6655.
Thomas Helbig, the family business with his nephew Bob Kershaw and Tammy Kershaw, they are there to help you get into your retirement comfortably. Any apprehension or any sort of nervousness that you have had about planning your retirement, or really that part later in your working life while you're in your career, and maybe you're making the most money you've ever made before, but you know that retirement is around the corner, and I need to make sure that I have done my nest egg the way I need to do it so that I can live in retirement the way I want to do it. Thomas Helbig is there to help you with that. And they're with the Retirement Advisory Group. Decades of helping people in St. Louis, just like you, make sure that retirement can be worry-free. That is a chore if you try to do it by yourself. How do you know how to go from saving to, okay, now I need to pay myself for this? What if something really bad happens in the economy? Am I insulated from that? Thomas Helbig and the Retirement Advisory Group will make you insulated from that. Call them to set up an appointment. 314-993-9494. You find them online at retirementkey.com.
This is Mark Ponder. I'm a candidate seeking to be elected to the Francis Howell School District Board of Education. I'd like to make sure our district brings back fiscal responsibility due to the massive $78 million Prop S overrun. I want to communicate with the teachers and give them the support they need and certainly deserve. Ensure we communicate much more with the community that supports us and provide a transparency and education that will bring back the trust our voters surely deserve. On April 4th, I hope you'll consider casting your vote for me. For more information, you can find me on Facebook or visit voteponder.com. Paid for by friends of Mark Ponder, Sherry McNeil, Treasurer.
Play ball!
Step up to the plate by donating your old car to Goodwill and get 4 box seats to a Cardinal game. Your car donation to Goodwill will help people right here in St. Louis. Donating is easy, towing is free, and you get a tax receipt. Plus, you'll get Redbird tickets, compliments of the St. Louis Cardinals. You can put the car in Cardinal by donating to Goodwill today. Donate online at mersgoodwill.org. Must mention promo code Cardinals. Hurry while supplies last.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The White House calls the charge ridiculous. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. After an American journalist was detained and accused of espionage in Russia.
We condemn the detention of Mr. Gerskovich in the strongest terms. We also condemn the Russian government's continued targeting and repression of journalists.
White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre says the State Department is seeking access. Evan Gershkovich works for the Wall Street Journal, which says it vehemently denies the allegations. Russia says he collected state secrets about the Russian military for the U.S. government. State media says he's now in pre-trial detention until late May after pleading not guilty in a closed court appearance. The White House and the Pentagon mourning the loss of 9 U.S. service members killed when 2 Black Hawk helicopters crashed during a training mission last night in Kentucky. For now, that investigation continues. Chance of how many more as protesters crowded into the Tennessee State House, demanding action on gun violence after the Nashville school shooting that's also spurring renewed debate on Capitol Hill.
The problem that we are today is not just going to be a legislation. We got to have a severe conversation here with this country. We got to deal with mental illness.
House Speaker Kevin McCarthy, as House Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries presses for a meeting on gun safety legislation. Newly revealed FBI documents point to a motive for the Las Vegas massacre. The documents say the high-roller gambler who opened fire on concert-goers in Vegas had lost tens of thousands of dollars while gambling weeks before that mass shooting and was upset about how the casinos had treated him. The documents painting a much more detailed account of the gunman's final days. America is listening to Fox News.
The Dell Technologies semi-annual sale starts now with limited quantity deals on select performance PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Save on select Vostro laptops with built-in security features and select Latitude laptops with enhanced privacy, collaboration, and connectivity. Save on select essential accessories plus free shipping and special financing with Dell Business Credit. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Do bank closures, inflation rate hikes, and the roller coaster of the market frighten you as much as it does me? You need to call Oxford Gold. Securing your IRA or 401k with real gold and silver is a portfolio protection plan, and Oxford Gold has made it as easy as 1, 2, 3. One app, one call, and you pick the precious metals. That's it. You now own real precious metals. Call Oxford Gold today and learn more about the 1, 2, 3 protection plan at 833-404-GOLD. That's 833-404-GOLD.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Feels like springtime across St. Louis this afternoon. Partly sunny, breezy, and nice. 65 the evening's delightful. Rain, maybe a thunder shower after midnight. Windy and mild all night long. 55 Friday, maybe a shower, thunder shower first thing in the morning. A very windy day, then a break. 72 on Friday. The weekend is dry. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
There are a lot of smart business people out there making smart decisions by getting Rhino Shield. The latest one, the Central Illinois Care Services, they have decided to go with Rhino Shield on the outside of their building so they won't have to worry about maintenance from now on. The list is long. Joe's Tire out in Sullivan, Stonehill Wineries in Herman, they've all got Rhino Shield on their buildings. You can have it on your business or your house. Just call 877-25-RHINO. Let Darren come out and give you a free estimate as to what it would cost to get this great product on your home. 25-year transferable warranty, 100% waterproof, 8 to 10 times thicker than paint. And as a satisfied customer, 15 years in, I can tell you it looks as good as the day they put it on. You're going to love Rhino Shield. Call them right now. Tell them you heard about it on the Mark Cox Morning Show. Again, 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Even in these uncertain times, Missouri lawyers are here to help. If your income has been impacted by the current global crisis, or if you qualify as a low-income household, you can have your legal questions answered for free at missouri.freelegalanswers.org. You can ask up to 5 questions, and they'll be answered by a lawyer licensed in Missouri at no cost to you. Missouri lawyers want you to know you are not alone. Get free answers to your legal questions at missouri.freelegalanswers.org. Brought to you by the Missouri Bar.
If you own a home in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is, without any inspections or the need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes, stlouis.com at 314-782-8000 and get your cash offer without any obligation, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant homes, inherited homes, fixer-uppers, beautiful homes, even the tenant who won't pay the rent apartment. Google us. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, and check out our best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to our website, chrisbuyshomes.stlouis.com, or call Chris at 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000, and get the offer you've been waiting for. 314-782-8000.
If you're experiencing a spring hiring rush, then you need Indeed. Their powerful, all-in-one hiring platform makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in one place. Want to find your next great hire? Visit Indeed.com/credit.
The voice for hardworking, free-thinking Americans.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
You're listening to 97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Appreciate you spending a little bit of your St. Louis Cardinals opening day with us here on the Annie Frey Show. Excited to have baseball back in action, and we are grateful that you're sharing some of this day with us. Here's a story from CNBC. Dumb phones are on the rise in the U.S. as Gen Z looks to limit screen time. The curiosity that I have here is that Gen Z is looking to limit screen time.
Yeah, it seems like something we've talked about, but I'm glad to hear that maybe the young generation is dawning on them that they may need to do that too.
It says dumb phones may be falling out of fashion on a global scale, but it's a different story in the U.S. Companies like HMD Global, the maker of Nokia phones, my first phone was a Nokia, continue to sell millions of mobile devices similar to those used in the early 2000s. This includes what's known as feature phones, traditional flip or slide phones that have additional features like GPS or a hotspot. I like that. Our phones didn't have GPS in them.
No. I remember having to take the little navigation device with me when I went anywhere.
The Garmin?
Yeah, the Garmin. That's
Pigeon?
what it was.
Pigeon.
No, I had
what
the
was
Garmin.
The other one? TomTom?
TomTom I had too. I never heard of pigeon.
Talking about the bird.
Oh, you're talking about an actual pigeon.
I got my wife a
Swing
Garmin.
and a miss. Quote, I think you can see it with certain Gen Z populations. They're tired of the screens, said Jose Briones, dumb phone influencer and moderator of the subreddit, Dumb Phones. They don't know what is going on with mental health, and they are trying to make cutbacks. In the U.S., feature flip phone sales were up in 2022 for HMD Global, with tens of thousands sold each month. At the same time, HMD's global feature phones sales were down, according to the company. This is the delineation between, when should you give your kids a phone? We should be saying, when should you give your kid the internet? That's where the problem is.
Yep. That's a great point.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
Most adults are not. I mean, given the amount of time that a child has versus the time an adult has to just sit and casually look through the internet, I mean, adults generally don't have as much free time as a child may have, and as much curiosity probably. More from CNBC in 2022, almost 80% of feature phone sales in 2022 came from the Middle East, Africa, and India. But some see that number shifting as a contingency of young people in the U.S. revert back to dumb or minimalist phones. I hear so much from parents, oh, well, we got them a phone because they're busy. Your kids don't have phones, do you?
No.
Okay, I was going to say, this isn't you who said this, but a lot of people say, they're so busy and there's so many activities and I want to be able to get a hold of them. And I always think to myself, but the internet, it's on there. And I have not seen, there has to be an enormous market for the latest version of the Nokia phone that would text, have GPS so you can track where your phone, I say where your phone is, and I'm talking to the adults because it should still be your phone.
It's yours. Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's important to understand that communication need is necessary because I have that with my kids from time to time. But at the cost of the internet, it's not worth it.
No, not at all. And that's why I would think that the dumb phone would be the ideal phone to get when you have a 16-year-old, because when they start driving and they're out doing these things on their own, you still want to be in touch with them, but then you're not giving them access to the entire world yet.
Yeah. The other thing of that is it takes the internet, because some of these dumb phones have hotspots. It takes the internet and it puts it on a separate device. And so even as an adult, you look at these things and you go, well, I still have the internet. I still can connect to it. So if I have a laptop or whatever, like I have a laptop for work, I can just pop on my hotspot and I can look it up. But that takes a deliberate effort and it's not mindless scrolling. I think they might be onto something here.
Ryan, do you use your phone too much?
It has crept into my life very slowly to the point now, yes.
Brad, do you use your phone too much?
I think I do, and I'm afraid to use it less just by nature of the job that we're in.
I feel like I could sit here and justify how much I use my phone, but that if I didn't use it that much, that I'd still be able to do what I needed to do. Oh, it's buzzing right now.
It is. Good timing.
It's
Somebody
always
just texted
listening.
you.
Mom, come on, that's embarrassing.
Fox News alert.
Oh, that's my brother. Of
You
course it was my brother.
We're all married to teachers, so you guys are pretty plugged into
Different teachers.
Yeah, we're all married to different teachers.
It's not like that.
There's one teacher. All of us decided to marry this person. That's what I was implying. We're all plugged into the youth, I think, through our spouses a little bit. Like we know the trends, right?
You sound like such an old guy.
Right.
We're all plugged into the youth.
the two what?
Are you saying things again that I don't understand?
I am.
No,
But
Brad.
I think
was what you just said there cool?
The two what? The two what? It's
I don't know what that
from
is.
My Cousin Vinny.
Oh, no, that's
that's even older, man.
Yeah.
You went the right direction.
We got to find the sweet spot
I'm
here.
sorry.
Let's do Spaceballs.
What is
we can finish the show. Yeah.
I know that quote.
Yeah, we're all married to the same teacher.
We're all married to the same teacher, and so we're all plugged into the youth. I'm drawing a line. Don't do this. Oh, no. Okay, here's the deal.
Mouthful of water.
The whole point I'm trying to make here is
Ooh,
that I
there's a
get to
point.
hear about trends.
Yeah.
And one of those trends I've heard, and these are pretty good kids. I don't hear a lot of like the crazy stuff. It's always there, but the really crazy stuff seems to avoid our little Christian school. And I'm thankful for that. But one of the things I've heard is that even the good kids who have smart things on their device, like that their parents know what their internet usage is like and all that stuff, there are now apps that they're using that are called Calculator.
Oh, yeah.
Open it up,
It's a
ain't a
messaging
calculator. It's all kinds of different stuff that they hide in different apps because they just want to have a little privacy and then get away with, no matter how hard you try, they're going to get away with whatever they want because there's
Also,
workarounds.
It's what everybody else is using. So if your kid is the good kid, and every parent thinks their kid's a good kid, and as a parent, you're probably right. Your kid is a good kid. That doesn't mean they're not going to get roped into something or looped into something that is going to snowball into something really bad in front of your eyes. in front of their eyes. And then they're in the middle of this, and then they got to know, can I go to mom and dad to talk to them about this? This seems like that I'm not supposed to be involved in. Maybe I can just make it go away. And it's scary for a child to go through that, to be exposed to these things, because all of this stuff happens outside of phone usage. Like, we know what that was like to get maybe caught up in something. You're with somebody and all of a sudden one thing leads to another, and then you're in this situation where you're like, I'm not really comfortable. Like, I wouldn't have chosen this, but here I am. What do I do? And the internet, to me, just makes that opportunity so frequent, nonstop. If your kid has their phone in their hands 24 hours a day, and they could be using the calculator app to talk to their friends about completely normal, easy things, but it's being done in a way that is secretive because that's how it's done in the group or with your peers. And it just, don't trust them with that kind of power. I don't know. I just feel like, I also hesitate to look at the CNBC article. You ever notice how, like, nostalgia, all the things that become popular for kids these days are the things that parents who spend the money, they're like, oh, Cabbage Patch Kids are back in now. Oh, you don't freaking say. I remember mine from when I was a little girl. You should have a Cabbage Patch Kid. And now Cabbage Patch has sold more dolls. Of course they have. You put out different kinds of nostalgia that the people who are going into the store and they remember the one that they had when they were a child. I don't know if there's anything like that now for you.
Every 25 years, there's a reincarnation of Alvin and the Chipmunks. You notice that? So
I believe it.
Same reason. It was in the 50s and 60s, then it was in the 80s, and then it came back for a movie series in like the mid-2000s.
Fashion also. 90s fashion. I don't know if 90s fashion is still in right now, but it's been in for a while, and it's something that I was sitting there going, But I remember in the mid to early 90s, do you know what we were wearing? 70s clothes, bell bottoms, big baggy jeans. And I remember my mom going, I can't believe you guys are wearing this stuff. Like, I remember my mom saying that. And the truth is that it was happening then. You go back a few years, the decades have passed so that it can be new again. And it's usually tweaked. It's usually something that is a fresh take on an old trend. And so that's fine, whatever. But I just feel like we're being duped. So I'm seeing this story about dumb phones, but I'm like, oh, Nokia. I should get that from, maybe it'll have Snake on it. Yeah.
I kept all my old phones. I don't know if you could still use them.
I have a lot of them.
The technology's probably
You're supposed
outdated.
to be able to dial 911 on any of them.
Really?
I think so.
Oh, should keep those in my car or on my boat, my yacht, just in case.
You have a boat?
Nah, not really.
Not yet.
I try to stay ahead of those trends, though. So I try to watch what was popular, when I was a kid, and I try to do that for my kids to stay ahead of the trends because then you're ahead behind. And so I've been dressing my kids all up like Waldo.
Oh, my God.
Yep.
The Mario movie. This is the second time that I talked about Super Mario World. But the fact that the Mario brothers are out with a movie right now, that's got to harken back.
Oh, yeah.
Jurassic Park.
Absolutely.
You come back with Jurassic, like a whole new Jurassic Park franchise. That was big in the early to mid 90s.
They did those Sonic movies.
Yeah. Yeah. Sega.
Yeah, Sonic. Pokemon never really went away, though, did it? I was going to say that kind of had a resurgence, but it just stayed.
Evolved.
Yeah.
Pokemon Go.
That was good.
It evolved.
It just evolved.
I get it.
That was good stuff.
Pokemon Go came out in 2016, and I know that because I told the story about how I thought it was the dumbest thing ever, and I was on a Lake of the Ozarks vacation with my family, and it was like 107 degrees for 4 or 5 days straight, and Evelyn, my now 6-year-old, was about 10 weeks old or something. I feel like it was right before I was coming back to work from maternity leave. And I was just sitting in the car all the time because they'd go do outside things, but it was too hot to have her out there. So I'd sit in the car with the air conditioner on, and I was bored. And I was like, okay, fine, I'll try it.
Mm-hmm.
And then my family played it for years. It was a great thing to have during COVID.
Yeah, it was, because you could get in the car and not be around anybody and still be traveling around doing something together, not in the house.
My husband and I would pass our phones to the back seat, put a movie on for Evelyn, who was 3 or something like that. And then the kids would play Pokemon, and Jared and I that was like a date.
Oh, yeah. Now, I'll say this when I'm talking to the coolest people in the world here when I ask you this question, so you guys will know. Is Tony Hawk and skateboarding having a resurgence right now? Because just about time-wise, it would be.
Tony Hawk is still popular. But he's
Is he like 60?
Yeah, he's
kind
of too old to be skateboarding.
You got to be tough tough
But
on the knees.
Like, I noticed that kids are wearing like Thrasher magazine shirts and stuff like that, but I don't think it's because of skateboarding. I think they just like the.
54.
But there is a little bit of a resurgence of the culture.
Oh, for
so
sure.
So I'm not way
for
off
sure.
here. Okay.
Yeah, even in the style, like Annie was talking about, the style
he
that
was
people
a
are wearing.
skater boy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that that's made a comeback yet.
What?
Avril
Lavigne.
She still does stuff.
Yeah, I saw her in the news the other day. I don't remember what it was for. She pushed somebody off stage.
Yeah. Did they deserve it?
Yeah.
Is it possible? Like, can you just say, do people deserve to be pushed off stage sometimes?
Well, I don't know that she like went and just like body tackled her
I'm not
off the stage.
talking about this instance. I'm talking about in a broader sense. Because we grew up in the time, it was maybe right before Nokia phones and the internet, where you would do something and someone would push you off stage because that's what you deserved in that moment. Because you were acting a fool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like you push someone off a stage even though they were acting a fool. Now you can still get sued. You still will get sued.
Well, and it's like figuratively and literally, it's dangerous to let people act a fool on stage. Like if you're performing or whatever, and somebody gets up on stage, you don't know what they're there for. Yeah, remove them from the stage.
Who knows what they're gonna do?
You don't know what they're there for.
If they get close enough to the artist that the artist has to do it themselves,
that's a failure on security's part.
For sure, but I mean, still, you think if that artist pushes somebody off the stage that's not looking like a major payday, that probably will pay out in a settlement.
Yeah, maybe that's something we should do.
By we, you mean you?
Me.
Ryan's like, I'm going to get tickets to this Guns N' Roses concert.
Yeah,
Stand up on stage.
Start a riot.
You said it.
Every day, Drew Barrymore's stupid show is up on this TV in here, and every day I look over and she's hugging somebody from the floor. It's the
She's
weirdest.
kneeling down in front of them.
Why is she doing this?
I don't know.
Who wants to be approached like that? Do you know, speaking of pushing people off the stage, if somebody came up to me and did that, I mean, I would be just moving in the other direction.
If
away
somebody
from the
came
host.
and kneeled before you
To hug me?
Brad.
There are 4 people in this world
There's not a chance.
that I would allow to do that. My husband is not one of
I
them.
was going to say, they're all your kids.
Did he propose to you standing up?
I think he did. Actually, he did.
That's how she knew he was the right one.
He didn't make a big deal out of it, and that definitely was.
So you want to like get married or something? Was that it?
That's not too far off from how it
Wow.
happened. Yeah, it was not.
I got to hear this whole story from Jared next time we talk.
Don't ask him.
I might.
I wouldn't.
I probably will.
He's just gonna be like, "Did you talk about that on the air?" No, he's not that guy, and I had made it clear that we had gone to Keemel's restaurant because I was working at 590 The Fan at the time. I've told the story. I was an intern of Frank Cusimano's, is how I started my time in radio, and his family owns Keemel's, and so every once in a while he'd give me like a free 2-meal like early dinner special or something. And so my husband and I, we couldn't afford to eat Applebee's, let alone go to Keemel's. But Frank Cusimano was just the best. So we went to Keemel's, and I mean, I don't know, this might have been 6 to 8 weeks before he ultimately ended up proposing to me. But I was a nervous wreck the entire time we were sitting there. I did not enjoy the meal. I was so terrified that he was going to propose to me in front of all those people, and he didn't. He had no intention to. So it's not. I mean, I didn't pick out a ring ahead of time or anything like that. So
that was just a missed. That was a swing and a miss. You were nervous for no reason.
Completely wasted my time.
But it was around then that he had.
I think we went in like maybe October or something to Keemel's, and then he proposed at the end of January. But I had told him, apart from that dinner, I had just said to him, like, listen, when we were at Keemel's, there was a part of me that thought you were going to propose to me in front of all those people. And I think he had like referred to our dinner at Keemel's and how great it was. And I was like, I was a mess. Please don't do that to me. Like when this goes down, if it goes down, I don't want to be in public. And so he honored that. So
he took you out to a field, and you were nervous anytime you were around a field from then on.
Why do you have a bag in the back of the car and you're taking me out to
Get a shovel. What?
Yeah, and you drove the stick shift, so I can't even get out of here.
Brad, you assumed that I was saying that you should do that to Annie. I was not. I'm saying you need to book Annie on Drew Barrymore's show.
Yeah, it's not happening.
Maybe that's what I was assuming. No, that's not going to happen.
There's no way that I stumble into Drew Barrymore's show.
No, that's why Brad's got to work really hard. It's not going to be stumbling into it. He's going to have to call and be like, hey, is this Drew? Because it's just called Drew.
Yeah, I'm sure he's calling her to book her. I'm sure Drew Barrymore is booking her own show.
I'm in entertainment. As far as I understand, that's how it works.
This is probably the industry that you worked in, how it works.
Yeah. People, I wasn't quite to that level. So people would just call me and say, hey, I got a song. Can I get on your song show?
And you're like, yeah, how about now?
Sure. Sounds good.
Come on down.
We need some contestants.
Oh, my gosh. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to have you guys answer this question. Are you a St. Louis Cardinals baseball fan? If yes, how big of a Cardinals baseball fan would you qualify yourself as? We'll be back in a minute. Don't go away.
That's what you'll say. You'll tell me, baby, please don't go away. But when I play, I never
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
So Ruler Foods has great savings every day, but they also do specials. Here are a few of them. If you go to a Ruler Foods near you right now, you can save on Hunt's pasta sauce or Kroger pasta, 10 for 10. That's fantastic. Big K 2 liters, 10 for 10. Banquet pot pies, 10 for 10. That sounds like something Ryan Wiggins would like. Kroger peanut butter, 10 for 10. Snack pack pudding, also something that Ryan Wiggins...
Dude, you're playing the hits.
Did you write this for me? Are you just hoping that
Look
they're
at the
this
bottom
cheap?
and you'll see who wrote it.
Snack pack pudding, 10 for 10.
Keep going.
Soft soap or renews it. Air freshener.
That was Brad.
Oh, man. Save at Ruler Foods. I might have to redo this one later. RulerFoods.com is there to make sure that the shopping process is smooth, is simple. The layout of the stores, if you haven't visited them, it's very intuitive. You walk through, it's clean, it's easy to shop, and it's so incredibly simple to save. You can save on those specials, but you can save every day on the name brands that you shop for everywhere else, but also on the Kroger brands at Ruler Foods prices. Find the store near you at RulerFoods.com.
Baseball is back. The free Odyssey app lets you listen to local coverage for the team you love. Live stream your favorite sports radio station or jump back and listen to the best segments on demand.
Don't forget we talk to the manager every Tuesday at 2 p.m.
Don't listen to some guy from the other side of the country tell you about your team. Live conversations for your local team. No matter where you are. Your season, your Odyssey. Get in the game and download the free Odyssey app today.
If you like to work with a local company that gives back to the community, Window World is the preferred window of your St. Louis Blues. Mark Cox here from my friends out at Window World. What a great product. A lifetime warranty. It covers all the parts, the glass breakage, the labor. You've heard me say that before. And they've been around for over 20 years. They have improved the look and the efficiency of over 70,000 homes in the greater St. Louis area. They have the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. That's hard to get, right? And that's important. They're ranked number one in the number of windows sold in the country by Qualified Remodeler magazine. Call them for a free estimate. Let them show you why they say simply the best for less. New doors, new windows. With Window World, they're now offering 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. 314-993-1800. That's 314-993-1800. Or you can go online anytime to windowworld.com.
I'm Dr. Nick Barnes at Health From Within Family Chiropractic in Rock Hill. At Health From Within, our mission is to transform the way you manage your health by bringing you the truth about health and healing. We use proven techniques to remove interference in the nervous system and maximize health naturally, without drugs or surgery. Connect with me at healthfromwithinstl.com and join me for Maximize Living on this station every Sunday at 8 a.m. or download the Maximize Living podcast, healthfromwithinstl.com.
Hi, this is Brian with Velocity Home Buyers, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 314-782-3333. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition and any price range in the St. Louis area. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy My tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that needs updating, but you don't have the time or money for it? Great, because I love buying outdated houses. I buy vacant houses, job relocation houses, and foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 314-782-3333. That's 314-782-3333.
Odyssey is your home for all the audio that matters to you. Download the Odyssey app today to listen to 97.1 FM Talk, even when you don't have a radio. Always streaming at 971talk.com.
I get up, I get down, and I'm jumping around, and the rumpus and ruckus are comfortable now. Been a hell of
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
In my fridge, still I'm not feeling grown. Been a hell of a ride, but I'm thinking it's time to go.
Here we go.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. It's opening day in St. Louis, and today's YouTube live chat poll is, are you a St. Louis Cardinals baseball fan? Ryan, have you looked at the results of this yet at all?
No.
What would you guess the percentage will be? Yes or no?
I think it's going to be 85-15. Because I think we're going to have some out-of-towners.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we've gotten some comments here that are of support for a different team. Hannah, how about you? Are you a St. Louis Cardinals baseball fan?
I am a St. Louis Cardinals baseball fan. I really don't know much about baseball, but I love my home team. I enjoy going to the games, even if I don't understand really the rules or what they're playing or everybody on the team. I love the atmosphere here in St. Louis. I love being a part of the fan base, and I do enjoy Cardinals baseball.
When was the last time you were at a Cardinals game?
I went to opening weekend last year. That was the last time. Actually, no, I went the week of my birthday in October.
You were there for some October baseball?
Yeah, I got tickets from work.
Was it playoffs?
I think so. We had really, really good seats.
Did you go to the playoff game? You don't know.
I don't know.
Okay, that's the
I
answer
hope
to the
it wasn't.
question.
It must have not been. I would have known.
I mean, they play into October.
Yeah, do you remember, did they win or lose?
I had fun.
All right.
She won.
Birthday
Hannah
weekend.
won.
Birthday weekend, Hannah had fun at the Cardinals game. Fill in the blank.
Brad, you answered this earlier, but what do you think?
Oh, for sure. I'm definitely a Cardinals fan. And if I had to rate myself on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably a solid 8.5 to a 9. I'm not going to say I'm the biggest fan ever out there because that's just not the case. I don't see every game. I don't make sure that I attend several games. But if I get the opportunity to go, I make time in my schedule to go.
What defines being I didn't know, we didn't have to rate ourselves, but I like that thought. What defines being a really good fan? Especially in St.
really
Louis.
good fan? I mean, you pay close attention even if you're not watching every game, which is hard to do. But there are people who their life circumstance dictates that they can do that, and hey, great if you can. But I think that you're paying attention at least to the outcome of every game at a minimum.
I do that.
So then I would say you are a big fan.
Yeah, I mean, I would too. There are a few things in my life that I invest as much extra time in as I possibly can outside of my work and my family environment, and Cardinals baseball is maybe at the top of the list. But I don't, that's not about how big of a fan I am compared to anybody else. I don't know that really matters.
That was one of the first things I knew about you, was that you were a Cardinals baseball fan. I was like, she likes Cardinals and Disney, and she's a mom.
Not in that order. Or maybe. Why did you know that? Did I tell you? Was I like, hi, I'm Annie, I'm a Cardinals fan?
No, not at all. I could just tell your excitement about the games and everything.
Yeah. I have always been a big Cardinals fan. But I originally got into radio. I was talking in the last segment about being Frank Cusimano's intern in radio. It started in 2006. And I thought I wanted to be a TV sports reporter. I wanted to be a sideline reporter. I'll say it. I'm not even going to ask you guys what you think about it, just to save you the stress of having to answer it. But I cannot get behind female broadcasters for baseball. And I know there is a female broadcaster out there. I don't know what her name is. She does a great job. I can listen to a game.
I know who you're talking about.
And she does a really good job, and I can get to the point where it's not part of my attention as much. It's just, it seems distracting to me. And maybe that's just because there haven't been enough of them. So maybe more women will have to get into it. But I have never in my lifetime been like, my dream is to broadcast Cardinals baseball. That's not it. I just wanted to be, I wanted to be on the field. I wanted to be talking to the players and getting to the stories and doing stuff like that. And I realized when I was at KFNS 590, I don't know why I'm not the dumbest person in that. I don't know why I didn't understand this sooner, but if you want to do that, you work nights and weekends pretty much exclusively. And I didn't want to work nights and weekends. I wanted to have a family. So I shifted pretty dramatically when the news talk job opened here. I was like, would much rather do that. And it also got to the point where doing sports coverage and sports radio, at some point I felt like we were doing the same thing every day. And I don't know if maybe if people were in sports talk, if they came here and did what we do, that you could also say sometimes we feel like here that we're talking about the same things every day.
Sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Although more often than not, 80% of the time, it's something new at least every week. There's usually a weekly big story.
That's one of my favorite parts about this job is you're most likely not going to have the same day twice.
Yeah. I guess it's just the details change. And if you were not interested in it, then you might it might feel like it's the same thing all the time. I also think that if you are in a political, like at a campaign season, is this going to end up being Biden-Trump?
Yeah.
You
think?
I do. I have thought that from the time
you changed
Trump
your mind,
announced.
Ryan. You changed your mind.
No.
Hannah, on the side, cover your ears real quick. Right.
Okay. Covered.
Covered ears.
By my earphones.
Yes. Cover headphones.
Take your headphones off.
No, I start clipping his dramatically strong stances on these things.
Mm-hmm. I will.
When we get enough, we'll get a montage.
I will challenge you guys. Because it's not
every week you change who you're going to think, like, who's going to run.
And
you're so confident
who's going to
every
run
time.
Does change. I mean, Chris Christie looks like he's going to get in the race for now.
Does that change your? It probably
it doesn't change anything. But I think
knowing
that
you, it probably would.
I mean, there have been times that I've been wavering on whether I think DeSantis or Trump would either be better in a general, because I still think there's some merit to maybe DeSantis polling a little bit better in the general than Trump. But I still think that we're going to see the same election in 2020 as we are in 2024, at least concerning the candidates in the general.
I hope that doesn't happen.
I really think it's going to be Ron DeSantis and Gavin Newsom. I don't think Joe Biden is going to finish out his term.
Sounds like 2028 possibility too.
Yeah, it sure does. Yeah, it could very well be.
Why do you think it's going to be them?
Why Gavin Newsom?
Because I think Gavin Newsom has enough money behind his campaign and enough name recognition to do it. I don't like Michelle Obama terrifies me. So part of it is
you want to elaborate on that, or
yeah, like she
as a political candidate,
she's as close to a shoo-in as you can possibly get for a political candidate, and she's also as close to a unqualified human being who should never be in that office as you can get. And that terrifies me.
You say she's unqualified?
Yeah.
Why is she unqualified?
I don't think being the wife of the president qualifies
she's
you to
not.
be the president.
She's a pretty she's been a lawyer.
Well, so she's been a lawyer. I mean, I don't think that necessarily qualifies you for
She's as qualified as Donald Trump was.
Yeah, I didn't think he was qualified either, but
okay, that's fair.
That's fair. Until you see him campaign, you really don't know.
But I don't think she wants any part of it. I don't think she wants any part of it. Yeah, I don't think Michelle Obama has any desire to be president. I think she...
Or, Hannah, hear me out. She wants to be wanted. Hey, not you then. I'm talking to Hannah. Don't you guys weigh in on this.
She's not interested, but she wants you to court her anyway.
I think Michelle Obama would be a really strong Democrat nominee. Who do you think would be strong enough to compete with her?
I don't think there's anybody.
Side?
Oh, on the Republican side? I don't know that person exists right now.
Ron DeSantis would beat her.
I was going to say, I could see a DeSantis-Obama. That'd be, I feel like, pretty neck and neck.
I'm, from the position I'm sitting in right now, horrified at the thought of covering a Trump-Obama president. Oh, it would be so bad. It would be so bad. But Joe Biden, there's no indication that Joe Biden isn't running, except for how he is the president. But aside from that, he looks like he's running again. Just pay no attention to the man who's not behind the curtain. Pay no attention to the man who's front and center.
Pay attention to the teleprompter writer.
You know the thing.
You know the thing.
All right, let's go to a break. We'll get the results of the poll. Let us know. Are you a St. Louis Cardinals baseball fan? If you are, you're probably not listening to us right now. Let's just be honest.
Ooh, that might skew the results.
I know. Let's see.
Interested to see now.
All right. On the Annie Frey YouTube channel, we're here at work, so you can hang out with us. We're grateful for the opportunity to do that. We'll be back in a minute. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Man, I'm up to something. Ooh-dee-la-dee-do, thank you all for coming. I hope you like the show, cause it's on a budget. So
I hope you like the show because it's under budget. It's not.
And here's Annie.
Stewie? You want to talk about Stewie? The bagel loan? Oh man, did you know you can get hot dogs you can get the kosher hot dogs at Busch Stadium today. That's Stewie's hot dog stand. That's pretty cool. Stewie is the guy who you can go to for the bagel loan. If you are looking to purchase a home soon, I want you to understand how Stewie is there to help make this process as smooth sailing as it possibly can be. When you use the bagel loan, which you can only get at Stewart's American Mortgage, what ends up happening is you get access to no closing costs. That's pretty fantastic. When you're going through the process of figuring out, oh gosh, what can we offer? How do we make a competitive offer? Lots of offers coming in. You want to make sure you're the one that they consider and ultimately choose. Well, you pair yourself with Stewie at Stewart's American Mortgage, 314-324-4440. And when you pair yourself with Stewie, he's going to walk you through the whole process. He's going to help you save all of that money, those thousands of dollars that you would end up spending on closing costs. He's going to put that money back in your pocket so that you can make a more competitive offer, so that you can maybe make some improvements on the home, whatever it is that you need to do. The bagel loan is there to help you. I've done refinances with the bagel loan. When rates were down, I used it to refinance and get lower rates because when you use the bagel loan, it doesn't cost you anything to go through that process. Call or text Stewie at 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
If you want to see better in the new year, there's no better time to call Brenton Vision than right now. Mark Cox here. My friends at Brenton have everything you need to get the crisp, clear vision you've always wanted. Call them at 314-375-2020 or go online today to brentonvision.com. They are the only team in Missouri to perform all 7 FDA-approved forms of vision correction. That includes modern LASIK, permanent contact lenses, and if you have bad reading vision, they even have treatments for you too. So stop throwing your money away. My wife got lens replacement. She sees perfectly these days, and she loves it. Quit putting it off. If it's standing in your way of achieving your goals and your resolutions, Brenton Vision is here to help. Call them today at 314-375-2020. Tell them you heard Mark Cox talking about it. That's 314-375-2020. Or schedule right now at brentonvision.com.
Surprise! Surprise! You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
Oh, Adam, you are so romantic. And I love the kitchen you found with all these great crumbs.
Yeah, baby, only the finest crumbs in the kitchen for my favorite aunt. Oh, no.
It's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They always kill the mood.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888. We'd love to help you out. Learn more about our special $67 offer. You can visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 54 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show, weekdays from 3 to 6.
Thursday afternoon, there's a huge game going on in St. Louis. No, not that one. It's The Price is Wrong with George Gray from The Price is Right in the 4 o'clock hour.
On 97.1 FM Talk.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
You gotta keep them separated.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Mark Reardon Show is going to start after this. I assume, is Mark Reardon, is he here?
Yeah.
Not many people in the
he's
building. That's exciting. Mark Reardon's going to be in studio here in just a little bit, so stick around for that. If you're streaming us on the Odyssey app, AUDACY, follow 97.1 FM Talk, and when you're listening to us and you want to go right into the Mark Reardon Show, you don't have to do anything. We went earlier this week to Heroes Care Mission Depot, and just a really, really great uplifting event. We were so grateful to be a part of it. Hannah, you got some results or some numbers of what was able to go down that day. What do you have for us?
Yep. So John Jerome, the CEO and president of Heroes Care, called me earlier and gave me these. So after our event, 46 veterans filed for benefits. 5 of them got legal assistance. 6 new companies joined in to donate products.
Wow, that's really cool.
Yep. 28 new volunteers signed up, so that's great. 5 veterans got new cell phones given to them, and 125 requests have came in to go to Mission Depot.
That's great. HeroesCare.org if you want to learn more about that. It was just really a fun event to be a part of, and glad that it was so successful here in St. Louis. You want to give us the results of the poll right now, or you want to wait?
We can wait a little bit.
Okay. Go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, and you will see right there on the live chat portion of today's live video, are you a St. Louis Cardinals baseball fan? Before we get to those results, anybody in here ever play Sims games?
Yeah.
Ooh, it's been a long time, but
You have?
in
Sims.
college, I think I did.
Yeah, a little bit.
I've never played that. I don't really. Mm-mm. I don't. Explain what it is.
It's like a little fake world, and you interact with people on it, and you can build your own house.
Do you interact with other real people, like other Sims players, or does everybody have their own world?
Yeah, you interact with other people on the Sims world.
So you can just kind of build it how you want to.
Why are you smiling?
I feel like you're making this up.
No.
Okay, well,
So
you
it's
tell us what
multiplayer?
Sims it is.
So it's basically a life simulation game where you create a character and then you go through simulating life events. You get a job, you build a house, you raise a family.
That's what Hannah said, isn't it?
Yeah. What's
But
different?
when you were talking
The
about
interaction?
I don't know that you interact with other players. I mean, I guess you can, but
Maybe in the newer versions, because when I played, I don't
It
know
was
that you
just a
could,
single-player
but
game.
that was also when the internet was
I was just
a
saying,
lot
did you
slower.
connect to the internet to do this? when you
I
played?
think you could, but back then, I remember trying to play Warcraft before it was called World of Warcraft.
And you're like, I'm just here to simulate real
And I'm
life
not
events.
kidding. We were trying to play on dial-up internet.
Mm-hmm.
That was a mistake because the game would try to catch up, but there was no way for that data to come in fast enough for you to play a game with
What's
anybody
World
else.
of Warcraft?
I think it's just one of those.
It's a massively multiplayer online role-playing game.
Yeah, where you like build farms, you build armies and stuff, and you keep building it up.
So that's Warcraft.
That's Warcraft. So World of Warcraft is a first-person player.
You're a character that goes through that world. And
Now
you
I'm out.
Level up and start fighting other characters in the open world.
What's different than what he said first?
His is you're more of a nation. You're building
Yeah.
armies and a kingdom and stuff like that, where you're just kind of overseeing it.
Interactive with other people?
It sounds like it.
Back then you could be, so I assume now you could be
Ryan's like,
even
I
better.
believe
That's
I
more
was.
of a what they call
They
a
were real
real-time
mean.
strategy.
Real-time strategy games.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. It's got a name.
This is more
sorry,
complicated
Yeah.
than no. It's okay.
And so
Why bring
anyway,
up
and then
Sims?
Darth Maul.
I brought this up because I don't know a lot about this, but I found this to be interesting. So all three of you have at some point played Sims.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, this is from PCGamer.com. And Rod Humble's new life sim takes careful account of the observation that people don't always want others knowing what they do in life sims.
What?
One reason people play life sims, says former Sim studio head Rod Humble, is that they offer a non-committal way to explore self-identity.
Oh,
Players, this is why Brad knows so much about World of Warcraft. Players can try on lifestyles and experiences they're curious about, but if they feel uncomfortable, they can always hit the eject button by deciding that they're playing a game about their Sims life rather than as themselves. That tendency to experiment and then retreat was completely apparent during focus groups, according to Humble, because players would deny doing things he watched them do. So they'd go play the Sims game, and then they'd go to their focus group and talk about it, and then individuals would lie about their Sims behavior. He said, remember, we've just watched these people play the game, and I had people come out and lie to us, to the whole group, about what they just did.
Well, wait, is it like something terrible, devious you're doing in the game? I didn't even know you could do this stuff.
It can be.
I remember a bunch of young guys, you said, and they get into the
I wanna
room.
know.
It's a mixed room, and they're like, hey, what'd you do? And they're like, murdered people, went in and starved people. There's some grown-up things that they said there. But actually what you did is you redecorated the bathroom. Like that's what he's saying. Like
they're
that's
lying the
actually
opposite
what
way.
you did. There's the idea that there are some things you should say that you're doing, but actually no, you're cooking and you're making a house.
So we've gotten to the place where people brag about doing the crazy stuff,
for
but
sure.
really they're just sleeping.
If you went in to play Sims, and it seems to me like the Sims that they're talking about in 2023 is probably a wee bit different than the ones that you guys were playing on dial-up.
Yeah, maybe.
But do you think that the Sims life that you would be playing in your own private life would be one that you'd want to talk about on the air?
I can tell you this. That when I had a Tamagotchi pet, I would abuse that thing so bad
You
just
abuse
for
it?
fun.
You're a horrible person.
Yeah,
What is that?
Because, ooh, really?
See, you can get Tamagotchis again.
Why don't you go get a Tamagotchi real quick, Anna?
We should get a show Tamagotchi and see make Hannah babysit.
Well, make Hannah babysit, but then also we can all do things to it.
No, Hannah, I don't want any part of that.
Why?
I don't want any part of any sort of responsibility with some sort of digital pet.
Well, you won't.
Why?
It'll be Hannah's.
Yeah, that's why we said we would have Hannah take
do
care
it.
of it.
Yeah, it'll be Hannah's, but then we could just dip in and play grandma and grandpa and be like, I'm going to overfeed
Yeah,
it.
I want to know about that role, like in a digital, not real kind of way.
Mhm.
I want to be the grandparent, overfeed it,
Yeah.
let it do whatever it wants.
I'll tell you what, the reason that I did all that stuff to my Tamagotchi is because we got them as gifts, and I felt bad not using it, so I tried to use it and then realized this is just responsibility for no reason. There's no reward.
This isn't a game.
For this. This is just
It
more
doesn't stop.
responsibility.
I never had a Tamagotchi. Do you know what a Tamagotchi is, Hannah?
No, I'm
Explain
confused.
what a Tamagotchi is.
Is it like a
Brian.
Nintendo Pet? Is that what the equivalent is?
That's probably
think
exactly
so.
what
I
it
don't
is.
really
but
know.
it's on your keychain. It was like a little egg-shaped digital thing, and you
Yeah.
had to carry it with you.
Oh.
A keychain-sized virtual pet simulation game.
There were those old black and white kind of games.
Look like
that-
Snake.
Like a
yeah, they look
calculator
Snake.
screen?
Yeah, they do.
Snake.
They look like the old Konami games that you could buy, Tiger handhelds and all those.
Oh, yeah.
Guess what year it was invented?
Tamagotchi?
1960.
1997.
1845. Was invented by the Rockefellers, wasn't it?
1996.
This is the old
There you go.
Tamagotchi phone.
Ah.
I don't know. I feel like that should have been in my wheelhouse. I would have been in 5th grade or 6th grade. I never had one. I never had the pleasure.
Good for you. You
I
didn't
don't-
miss anything.
I feel like maybe I felt like at the time I was missing out, but I never even had one. Never had to take care of it.
Did you get any of the popular toys of the time? Did you ever have a Furby or
No.
anything?
Furbies were,
A little later?
I think I was. No, well, we had Beanie Babies. Man, I used to go. I have spent hundreds of dollars on Beanie Babies over the course of time. My mom would go get them as well. I would save up my money that I would get for Christmas and then go on and look for the Beanie Baby that was rare or something, or go to the pharmacies because they would get shipments of Beanie Babies in. And I had quite a collection of Beanie Babies. I don't know that my mom remembers I spent any of my money on that.
Oh, yeah?
She's just giving them to my nieces and nephews.
Do people actually resell their Beanie Babies for good money?
No.
Because every Beanie Baby I've ever seen, someone's like, oh, this is really valuable. I'm like, why does everybody have it?
That's what you were made to believe at one point. But I mean, like,
My big beanie.
if they were really super valuable, the thing is that there are a bunch of people who are my age who would love to sell them for money that they could use on practical things. And it's definitely not a demand-heavy supply and demand situation there.
I would think eBay kind of killed that, right?
Yeah, for sure. So, but Beanie Babies, I had a lot of those. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that I can think of that was super trendy. My brother had Pokemon cards. He was into that. I never was into the Pokemon thing.
My brother was 8 years younger than me, so I went through the ones from my age group, which really there weren't a ton other than I'm thinking maybe this Cabbage Patch doll when I was really little.
Ew.
And then after that, I don't remember a whole lot until he was in that phase. And man, there were a ton in the mid to late 90s that my brother hit. And one of the big ones I can remember was the Power Rangers. You could not find the Power Ranger toys. And when the Green Ranger came out, man, if you had a Green Ranger, you were the coolest kid in the world.
Who was the coolest Power Ranger?
Green Ranger.
Why?
Who eventually became the White Ranger because it was Tommy. Tommy was just cool. He had slick back hair.
He was a bad boy.
Yeah, he was kind of a rebel.
Best fighter.
Right. Everybody wanted to be Tommy.
You still want to be Tommy?
I mean, I'm not saying
Ryan,
I
you
did.
never got to be Tommy, did you?
I was too old. I didn't care. I was watching this happen among the youngers.
You know, the show's almost over. You're going to have to stop. We can carry this out into the lobby here, and we can keep talking about it if it makes you feel better.
Look, I'm going to say I have a friend who.
You had to say
in
that
about
out loud.
7th or 8th grade, got dressed up in a full Red Ranger outfit and skateboarded down the sidewalk just to see if people thought he looked cool.
I know what we need to do the next time we hit a milestone on YouTube.
No joke.
You need to do the show as a Power Ranger.
Not with the mask. I'm drawing the line there. Those plastic masks.
Just cut a hole.
Cut a hole in the mask?
Yeah, I'll cut it. You can while you're wearing it.
Cut some giant eye holes in a mouth.
This thing of
Power
nightmares.
Ranger mask.
Oh, man. The YouTube live chat poll before we're out.
Are you a St. Louis Cardinals baseball fan? Yes or no? 80% of the people voted yes, they are a Cardinals baseball fan. 20% of the people said no.
80-20.
80 yes. All right. Well, go Cards for 4 out of 5 of you. 4 out of 5 listeners agree. St. Louis Cardinals are the best team in baseball. The Mark Reardon Show happening here when right after this break, so don't go away. Stick around. 97.1 FM Talk. We'll be back in a minute.
An update from Illinois Family Institute, illinoisfamily.org. IFI's plan to rescue children from government schools is reaching a milestone with the launch of Good Soil, Good Seed.
Our children need discipleship, not indoctrination.
The Reverend Caesar LaFleur with Good Soil, Good Seed says funding raised through the new foundation